Alrighty, people. Monday. Monster Truck Rally. Anyone ever been to a Monster Truck Rally?
Fuck yeah, man. I fucking love Monster Truck Rally.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of those things growing up. Shout out to my grandma for taking me.
Never been to a Monster Truck Rally. Some wise people shit.
We've got a 2025 Dynasty rookie draft for you guys on today's stream. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. It's going to be a fun day. Obviously, we've got Rams Vikings, which is in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So there's a two-parter to today's stream, the Dynasty Rookie Draft, and then we're going to review some people's teams as well. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Peyton? Happy Monday, Styles. What's Gucci? What's up, Trent? What's up, Mad Hats on Twitch? Says shout out to Matthew Golden for declaring. Joel says McConkey Kong is him.
Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you, dog.
Our little lad, the space creator. One of my favorite players in last year's class, is absolutely dominating, doing his thing, and I've been celebrating all over Twitter. Our guy kind of doing his thing. He's all grown up. Our boy, Lad the Space Creator, the most receiving yards for a rookie in an NFL playoff game all time. So that was awesome to see. But we are excited to be here with you guys. What's up, D-Man? What's up, Alex, who says I'm an absolute slut for Dynastyland rookie drafts? What's up, Whaler? What's up, Chuck? What's up, Grant? What's up, Gage? What's up, Daniel Macy in the building?
How we feeling, y'all?
We appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button. We do have a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. We're already 25% of the way to that goal. I do appreciate you guys big time for being here with us, but there is no time to waste, okay? Badaki, people probably want to get into this mock draft with us. At least I imagine they would. Word around the street is that people do want to get into a mock draft with us. And if anyone is out there and they want to, how could they go ahead and get into today's mock draft with you and with I?
Yeah, join our Discord. That link is in the description. I put that link in the chat. Okay, that link is already in the chat just there. Go join our Discord. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs and go to announcements where you can see right there on your screen. Click on announcements, and that's exactly where I will put the link to each and every mock draft, whether you are watching now or in the future here, okay? It is first come, first serve. All right, so I'll send that link out here in 3, 2, 1. There you go.
My favorite part about waiting for that link is the emojis that go in the Discord. I like to see how creative people get. All right, so that is going to fill up. This will be a 12-team super flex, tight end premium, PPR. All right. But we have a mock draft today, a fresh 7-round mock draft from our intern. Shout out, Sammy Stacks. All right, shout out to Sammy Stacks for cooking up another 7-round mock draft. He's obviously with us in the chat, and he's here. So if you guys want to roast anyone for their decisions in this mock draft, Sammy, our official intern, you can roast him. It's a joke for legal reasons. All right, let's have a look at this. All right, Shador Sanders goes number 1 to the Titans, then Cam Ward to the Browns at number 2, Travis Hunter to your Giants. I think that's the best outcome for the Giants, and this is the least, as a Washington fan, this is what I would want to happen the least. I would rather you guys have drafted one of those quarterbacks. Ted McMillan to the Jets. There's a lot of rumors right now out there that they could trade Garrett Wilson. You know, they could completely hit the reset button this offseason, so that would be interesting to kind of monitor as well. Then we see Tyler Warren to the Colts. I think most people have this one written in Sharpie at this point. I feel like every mock draft I see is Tyler Warren to the Colts. And from a football perspective, it just makes all the sense in the world. So I can understand why that's happening a lot. Then we get Luther Burden to the Broncos. I do really like that, actually. I think he could be the long-term number 1 for Bo Nix. Could be one of these dominant players. Out of the slot, also can play outside if you watch the film. Emeka Egbuka becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler. You know, he and George Pickens would complement each other a lot. Then we have probably the first big surprise of the mock draft with Alec Ayo Manor going first round to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, boy.
You know, from a perspective of building a wide receiver room like a basketball team, this makes a lot of sense because obviously Ladd McConkey, you can play him inside, you can play him outside, but Ellick is a true outside receiver. I think he's like 6'5", if I'm not mistaken. Still yet to watch his film. I know a lot of people like him, but I did watch his game against Travis Hunter in 2023, and he was absolutely dominant. So I'm excited to dive into his film. Then we get Ashton Genty, who falls all the way down to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I can already imagine the comments after this video is aired. You guys are dumb. There's no way that Ashton Genty's fallen to the Vikings. Well, shout out to Sammy Stacks, because now we don't have to take on any of the blame. We can just put it on our new intern, Sammy Stacks. But look, right. I don't think Ashton Genty gets out of the top 15. But let's play out this world. Let's play out this scenario. This is why it's fun. No one truly knows how the NFL draft's going to go. And in this scenario, Ashton Genty is a Minnesota Viking. I love that landing spot for him. Obviously, Colson Loveland becomes an Eagle. So that's a really interesting spot to think about long term. Yeah. Then into round 2, where Amarion Hampton goes to the Raiders. Jaden Higgins to the Patriots early round 2. The Patriots and early round 2 wide receivers, who I think are a little bit overrated. It never ends with them. The Saints with Jalen Royals, one of my favorite players in this entire class. I love that pick. Travion Henderson goes to the Cowboys. Oh my gosh, man. I have been saying this in pretty much every piece of content we make, Badaki. I have not understood why the community is not giving more respect to Travion Henderson, and then he comes out in the semifinal game and has a ridiculous catch, houses it for a touchdown. I think he's going second round. I like this fit with the Cowboys a lot. Then we see Jalen Milroe to the Seahawks in the middle of the 5th round, or second round. The Steelers get Caleb Johnson, perfect replacement for Najee. Jack Besh, my guy, goes to the Panthers. Quinshon Judkins to the Chargers. I like that spot. Isaiah Bond to the Commanders. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't think Isaiah Bond's going to declare. Can anyone confirm if he is or is not declaring?
I said in the chat earlier today that that was Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Isaiah Bond.
The only reason I say that is because he completely disappeared for like 4 games when they needed him the most. I know he was dealing with an injury, and I just don't understand what's going on with that situation. Into round 3, where Will Howard is a Giant. Harold Fannin Jr. goes to the Chiefs. The NFL community would lose their mind if this happened. Jackson Dart is a Raider. Then we see Matthew Golden to the Cowboys. Xavier Restrepo to the Cardinals. I like that spot. Mason Taylor to the Bengals. Obviously, Jason Taylor's son, NFL great Jason Taylor. Gunnar Helm to the Rams. Cam Scatterboot to the Broncos. Tez Johnson to the Bucks. Savion Williams to the Packers. Trey Harris to the Texans. We also see in round 4, Torrey Horton to the Titans. Dylan Sampson is a Brown. DJ Gidden is a Giant. Jalen Knoll is a Jag. Perfect Christian Kirk replacement long term, actually. Caden Prather to the Raiders. Then we see Ja'Cory Brooks to the Dolphins. I like Ja'Cory Brooks a lot. Quinn Ewers to the Rams, who completely fell apart when they needed him the most. Oradone Gazden, I'm pretty sure I say his name. It goes to the Chargers there. Woody Marks, my guy, to the Ravens. RJ Harvey to the Chiefs. I like that a lot. And then into round 5, where we have Devin Neal to the Panthers. Kyle Monangai to the Jags. Let's make that running back room more confusing. Bashul Tootin actually is a great fit with the Commanders, not going to lie. Damian Martinez to the Bears. Dylan Gabriel, Riley Leonard off the board. Pat Bryant, Terrence Ferguson, Khalil Mullins, Jordan James is a Packer. Yeah, and if you guys want to look, Ollie Gordon goes in the 5th round. If you guys want to look at the rest of that mock draft, it is in the chat for you. I will also put it in there one more time. Now, some very important news, Badaki, that we have to discuss. All right, this absolutely changes everything for fantasy football. Is that Katron Allen announced that he's going to return to Penn State. So, a guy that was definitely rising up my boards. He's now coming back to Penn State. We won't talk about him. And also, his teammate, Nick Singleton, a lot of people had him in the top 5 of their running back rankings. He had an incredible postseason from the Big Ten Championship onwards in the playoffs. He is also coming back to Penn State. This is a reality that we have to live in nowadays with NIL being a thing. And this inevitably, I don't think there's 2 ways around it. This does hurt the 2025 rookie draft class. It doesn't mean that the class is, you know, a bad class. But yeah, even if you didn't like these guys, even if you weren't the biggest Nick Singleton or Katron Allen fan, it would have pushed other names that you may have liked down the board. It would have made the class as a whole stronger. Your second round picks have lost value. They have. You know what I mean? So your third round picks have lost value. So that is how I'm viewing this situation.
It's good for him. I don't know how the 26 class looking like, but he could be the first running back overall or second, top 3.
Jeremiah Love gonna be number 1 next year. That dude's a dog.
Well, in reality, like right now, in some people's eyes, he's not top 5. He's within the top 10 this year.
He wasn't in my initial top 5, but I hadn't scouted his postseason yet because his postseason was ridiculous. He was so good. But all right, we appreciate y'all for being here with us. Again, do us a massive favor. Smash that like button. Like goal on today's stream is 100 likes. And we are almost halfway there. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. And we'll go ahead and get this thing started. Again, 12-team Superflex tight end PPR. All you have to do is draft a kicker and then tell us in the sleeper chat who you want, and we will make that player magically appear. What's up, Matt? Welcome in. What's up, Grant? Welcome in. Brizzleton is in the building. What's Gucci, my man? What's up, Scribbles in the building? Andrew says, who has the most aura in this year's class? That's a good question. The most aura in this year's class. Yeah.
I feel like I normally understand that during the combine, to be honest. But yeah, Scatterboo, that's a good one.
I think Luther Burden has the most aura, personally. But I'm obviously very biased.
I have to like see them. I have to see them like within people, like not even on the fields, just like individual people.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd have to say Burden. I mean, he, like, if you were to build a receiver in Madden, the way that they, like, the gear that they use and stuff, you know, I feel like he would be like the mold because his gear looks pretty sick most of the time. All right, at the 101, a little bit of a surprise, but our community is known for throwing curveballs. And we see Tet McMillan come off the board as the 101. You know, look,
Jack did that last time. Was it Jack that did that?
Someone did it previously. Look, not a pick I would make. I do have Ginty in his own tier, and I have Tet in a tier with like 6 or 7 other players. But I can respect the conviction if you're out there and you're saying, you know what, I think Tet is going to be the next Mike Evans. People love comparing him to Mike Evans for sure. You know, if that's you out there and that's, you know, that's your conviction, I can respect it. Now, you better hope that the Jets trade Garrett Wilson if you're going to take Tet McMillan at the 101. Because with no quarterback play in the future to rely on, right? With Garrett Wilson there competing for target share, and I think this is, in this specific scenario, this world that we're living in, I think this is really, I mean, hey, I respect the conviction is what I'll say. All right, at the 102, we do have Ashton Ginty who comes off the board. You know, does he fall to the Vikings in real life? I don't think he does, but we'll play out this world because crazier things have happened. What if the Vikings trade up? They probably won't. But
yeah,
it's a deep running back class. But in this world, I mean, Ashton Ginty with the Vikings, that's an incredible offense to be a part of. Imagine the weapons in that offense. Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, pretty good offensive line, decent quarterbacks, and of course, Ashton Ginty. I mean, that would be an unstoppable force on offense. That would be absolutely incredible. All right, at the 103, we do have our second wide receiver who comes off the board, and that is Luther Burden, who did fall to the Denver Broncos, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
which is nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the points, and you guys, if you don't know, Luther is my wide receiver 1 right now in my rankings. They're all in the same tier between him, Tet, and Travis. But one of the things that people try to take away from Luther is they try to say, well, he's not going to get drafted in the top 10. And I find that really funny when people say that because, respectfully, why would I want him to fall to any of these teams in the top 10? Like, honestly, let's think about this for a second. Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jags, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, Bears. Please tell me the team that you guys are excited about a wide receiver joining outside of, like, what? The Patriots and the Panthers? And even then, you can't guarantee it's a great spot. Do you know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
you're not going to scare me off Luther Burden because, oh no, he might fall to the Bengals, or he might slip to a wide receiver needy Broncos, or, you know, what if he accidentally goes to the Chargers or the Texans or the Commanders? Oh no. Oh no. Please don't scare me into a good time here. I mean, I find it a really, really funny talking point that people are using against Luther Burden. So I just thought I might share that with you guys. I think that take is a little bit silly in my opinion.
No, but I mean, the landing spot overall is phenomenal. Going with Bo Nix, you saw how he elevated Cortland Sutton this year, and how he's elevating everyone else around him. You know, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Luther Burden coming in, solidifying that role, being a first-round pick for the Broncos and Sean Payne's offense, a guy that he's going to get in space. This is nasty.
I agree.
I'm loving it.
I absolutely love it. At the 104, we see a guy who I know is going to be just shooting up draft boards after his performance in the postseason so far. TreVeyon Henderson. I have spoken of my love of TreVeyon Henderson throughout this entire process. I've had him in a tier above Quinshon Judkins for the entire time. I think, and this is what I've said, is if you look at the two, I think that Henderson has a chance to completely break fantasy football. Like, he has that upside that...
He was my RB1 last year before he didn't declare.
Right, we loved him last year. He came in, split carries, but was extremely efficient. Every time he touches the ball, you can see him take it to the house. Absolute home run hitter. And in this scenario, he goes to the Cowboys in round 2. They need a running back. He would complement this offense really, really well. A receiving threat out of the backfield as well. I love the pick. I'm a big fan of that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think at this point, the film that he's put on, you know, for the postseason, the playoffs, I think he's deserving of being in the same tier as your Hamptons and your Caleb Johnsons. Like, personally, I think he's going to end up in that tier for me, which is the same tier as Luther Burden as well. It's as crazy. I don't think that's crazy to say. You know, this class is so stacked. The only thing people have against TreVeyon Henderson is they don't think he can handle a workload. That's the only thing that people have against him.
Sure.
At the 105. We do see Omarion Hampton.
Omarion.
Come off the board. He went to the Raiders in round 2. I love the fit for him as well. I think he is their perfect long-term Josh Jacobs replacement. Clearly, that team desperately needs to replace Josh Jacobs. There's no one who made any impact in that backfield. Actually, you know, I will say, Amir Abdullah won me a fantasy championship in our Dynasty League in the Golf League. So, shout out to Amir Abdullah.
Shout out to Amir. Come on, buddy. Talk him up.
At the 106, we see another running back come off the board. No surprise. That's where this class is stacked. And that is Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, now, he went to the Steelers in the second round.
He went to the Steelers in the second round. But, Aki, I'm seeing like a very common trend right now. And you guys know I have like a very big qualm with Twitter in general. I think the worst dynasty advice is on Twitter. I think the worst fantasy football advice is on Twitter. I think people have ulterior motives for the things that they say on that app. But it is like the month to discredit Omarion Hampton and Caleb Johnson right now. Everywhere I'm looking on Twitter, it's like everyone who gets a chance to discredit these two prospects, they're doing it. And I get why people want to do that. They want to stand out. They want to be different. But I find it absolutely silly. I mean, if you know anything about Iowa's offense, what Caleb Johnson did for that offense is truly historic. So I don't think we should be overthinking it. I think the film speaks for itself. The analytics speak for themselves. Not everybody is TreVeyon Henderson. Not everybody is going to make a man miss in a phone booth, right? These are different players that thrive in different ways. But at the 107, we did see Shedeur Sanders come off the board. He was the first overall pick to the Tennessee Titans. So he's going to go to Tennessee. You know, did you see his cleats? Did you see his New York Giant cleats? Did you see those? He wore, yeah. I think, in the bowl game, if I'm not mistaken.
I was texting my friend, and I was saying, like, you just jinx yourself. I feel like you shouldn't have done that. And it's classic now that we don't have the first round pick. He's most likely going to go to the Titans or the Browns and not fall to us. And he looks like an idiot. And what's going to happen on draft night? Then to keep bringing up the New York cleats about him and be like, well, you stupid. Anyways, I did see that.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Trent had a great question. He says, how many wide receivers in this class would you rather have over Rome? As prospects, I would have Rome easily as the wide receiver one in this class. It wouldn't be close. I still view Rome, even though it wasn't a good rookie season, as a complete prospect. Now, keep in mind, I called JSN a can't-miss prospect, and I got roasted after his freshman or rookie season. But, you know, not all situations are created the same. Not all opportunities are the same for these players when they come into the league. But I would personally have Rome Odunze comfortably as the wide receiver one in this class myself. I think he's a complete prospect. Now, what did you do here at the 108, Badaki? Because you're on the clock.
Yeah, 108. I just continued with the quarterback run. I took the quarterback. This is a super flex mock draft. I know you're not in love with Cam Ward.
That's okay.
But if the upside is there, I'm going to take it. He does go to the Browns. Jerry Jeudy. Look, I think obviously this offense is trying to change. We saw what this offense could potentially be with Jameis. Could that be the same with Cam somehow, some way? In a couple years, maybe not off of year one, but second overall pick in the NFL draft. I can get him here at the 108. Why not try it?
Yeah, I know. Look, I think, like, I don't want to be labeled like a Cam Ward hater. I just think I can see the upside. And if you're shooting for upside in a Dynasty Superflex league, I can totally see why you would go Cam Ward. You know what I mean? Like, I don't judge anyone for doing it. But it's just, these are two quarterbacks that I believe are being pushed up NFL draft boards because of need, not because of talent. And that overall, that just concerns me overall. But I can totally understand, you know, taking the shot. I mean, he's the second overall pick in the draft. I can't really fault that at all. At the 109, this is where Alec comes off the board as an Alec A.O. Menor. He goes to the Chargers in round 1. Look, with his body, with his size, I don't think it's crazy to say that, like, he could slip into the first round or something like that. That would not at all surprise me. Now, I still need to evaluate his film in depth, but, I mean, he's got that big body size. He's definitely got good, impressive games on film for NFL teams to fall in love with, so it'll be fun to watch that. By the way, I am a huge fan of, like, Dane Brugler. I've made that very clear over the years, but
yeah.
One thing that I think it's important to tell the Dynasty community here is the deadline for underclassmen to enter the NFL draft is this Wednesday. Okay, so this Wednesday, except for Ohio State and Notre Dame teams who have until January 24th because obviously they're still playing for the championship. So, you know, I have a whole list of players I want to scout, but for example, Katron Allen was on that list because he was just dominating this postseason, but I wasn't going to waste my time. I wanted to see who was going to declare or not, right? And I'm glad I didn't waste time on that. Okay, cool. So we've got Alec A.O. Menor off the board. Yeah, this is interesting. Let me just look at the mock draft. I've been talking so much. I know there's a couple players. Okay, right. That guy's available. All right, I see him. Okay, cool. Okay, I mean, has anyone taken Quinshon Judkins?
No.
Okay, I'll take Quinshon Judkins off the board here. He does go to the Chargers in round 2. So talk about dream landing spots. I mean, I know a lot of us are obsessed with, you know, the Chargers as a landing spot. You look at the postseason for these guys, they clearly need an upgrade at the running back position. J.K. Dobbins was great. He was serviceable. But ultimately, I think they need a long-term answer there. And while I do prefer Trayvon Henderson, and I've felt that way since I began this process, I still see a ton of value in a Quinshon Judkins. I can still see how we can absolutely contribute to an NFL team. My comp for him was Kareem Hunt and David Montgomery. So I still think he's an incredible player. First and second down back. He can catch the ball in the backfield if you want him to. I just don't think he has the creativity that some of the other backs in this class have. You know, whatever you block for him, he's going to take advantage of, but he's not going to create for himself. He's not a home run hitter. He is a move the chains, you know, inch by inch type of running back. I actually put this in my notes. Runs through contact like the Kool-Aid man runs through walls. So if that interests you,
Like the Kool-Aid
then
man runs through walls.
you can go ahead and draft Quinshon Judkins this year.
My God.
You know me, I'm a sucker for those kind of things. At the 111, our first tight end comes off the board. Love the player, not obsessed with the landing spot.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. Tyler Warren comes off the board, the first tight end. I definitely think there are 2 tight ends worthy of being first-round picks in Dynasty rookie drafts this year. Tyler's one of them. Now, he goes to the Colts. There's a two-sided coin here. The one side of it is Anthony Richardson sucks, and we've been trying to tell you all that for a while, and he can't support fantasy-relevant options. The other side of that coin is, I mean, who's stopping Tyler Warren from becoming an alpha on this team? I like Josh Downs.
Sure.
I like Michael Pittman. But I'm not going to say these guys are some sort of like Justin Jefferson talents, even a Garrett Wilson level talent where it's going to stop a guy like Tyler Warren from becoming that guy for these Colts. So I think you can paint the picture both ways. And at least, I was going to say at least like it's, Tyler Warren's going to be targeted in short areas, but that's where Anthony Richardson struggles. But anyway, I like the prospect a lot. There's some Trey McBride there. There's some Taysom Hill there. I'm a big fan of his game. He's going to be incredible for an NFL team, but we do have to ask exactly what that means for fantasy football.
Yeah, and I completely agree. You know where I think Tyler Warren would probably go in the first? It would probably be like, which we said like we love Luka Burton going to the spot, but I think the Dolphins, this is another good spot. I know they have Jonnu Smith, and I know that he has that 2-year contract. He can go there. Not saying he's a speedster guy, but he's somebody that they can get the ball to, like we saw. But yeah, I'm not in love with the landing spot. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Just based off quarterback play. I mean, if Anthony Richardson takes a huge step this year, that would be phenomenal.
All right, last pick of the draft, and we're going to ask you guys who you think the best value is in round 1. So go ahead and submit your answers. But it's going to be Emeka Egbuka, who continues to just produce, man. Just continues in every game to be a reliable, underneath, over-the-top option. I mean, I was honestly shocked that the way he spread the field deep down the field in that last playoff game, because I don't think it's necessarily a strength of his. I'm not saying he struggles at it, but you saw teams this last game, for example, completely shut down Jeremiah Smith, and Emeka had to step up, and he did. He's a great player in his own right, super safe floor. I love comparing him to Robert Woods. The way that Robert Woods improves an NFL offense in his prime as a run blocker, as a slot, and also outside versatile type of receiver, good route runner, solid hands. That's what Emeka Egbuka can do for an NFL team. He does land with the Steelers, so Pickens is there and no solid quarterback to talk about long term, but I like betting on the player, especially coming out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is the best value in round number 1? Tell us in the comment section. I want to hear. I'm going to say who is the best value in round 1. I want to hear your answers to that. And I'm going to ask you, Badaki, right after I answer this question from Nathan, who says, do you expect many running backs to get whack landing spots like Sharby to Seattle just to tank the dynasty value out of the gate? Honestly, I've felt since beginning this process that this could be a historic running back class from the perspective of the amount of running backs drafted. Now, I think the record is 30 in 2017. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I could see that happening again. However, not only do I think this could hurt rookies that we're in love with, like, for example, like, everyone loves Dylan Sampson, all these, like, guys who probably round 3 picks or round 4 picks, but we all love Dylan Sampson. We all love Cam Scadaboo, for example, Devin Neal, DJ Giddens. We all love these players. But they could easily go to spots with solidified number 1 running backs. And it would be tough to understand. But also, the opposite side of that could be true in the sense of running backs that you already think are valued a certain way. Your Chase Browns of the world, your Tyrone Tracy's of the world. Like, list out the amount of running backs. Like, their value could take a hit as well because you could get really quality running backs in the 4th, 5th, 6th round of this year's draft that could seriously compete with guys who already have solidified jobs in the NFL. So I think this could be a transformational class for the running back position in Dynasty.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have to see, and I kind of been saying this with this class even earlier last year, prepared to to be okay with a 40%, 50% running back, just like we see with the David Montgomerys of the world, right? So these are the type of roles that they're going to come into, and you're going to be happy with it because of how the landscape of the NFL has changed. Unless you have a top 6 running back that is clearly the number 1 running back on your team, or on their team, like, you know, the Saquons, the Derricks, the not in a dynasty perspective, but you get what I'm saying, a workload perspective. You have to change your mindset when you think of this class coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of running backs that are going to come in and take workloads from solidified running backs in the league right now, and we're just going to have to be okay with it. We just have to maneuver who those guys are going to be.
Yeah, it's funny because at this point of the offseason, it's actually the cheapest time to buy a running back, but it's also the riskiest time to buy a running back, right? I mean, imagine those people who last year bought James Conner for a second-round pick at this point, and then the draft happened, and they were like, oh no, Trey Benson. I don't know if I made the right decision or not. So, like, that's this part of the cycle every year, and I'm trying to create content around this soon, but the life cycle of when to buy and sell players. But yeah, it's interesting because it's the most risky time to buy a running back, and it's also the cheapest time to buy a running back if they come through the NFL draft unscathed or free agency unscathed. But best value in round 1, we have a lot of people saying Quinshon Judkins. Whoever drafted that guy must be smart. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. 108 says 110, is it Zach Savage or something like that? I don't know. He sounds like a smart guy. People are saying Judkins. I don't know. I mean, you guys, people are saying it. We also have Genty. A lot of people saying Genty because he fell to the 102. I kind of agree there. Caleb Johnson we had as a best value in round 1 as well. So, yeah, Simon, very unfortunate that the Penn State running backs declared. Not much you could do about that. But let's get into round number 2 here. And shout out to Bears1985. He says, what's up, guys? Just want to say thank you so much for all you guys do. Be blessed. Very, very kind to you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Update on our like goal, by the way. Like goal was 100 on today's stream. And we're currently 29 likes away from that goal. So be a friend if you have yet to do so. Smash that like button. Honestly, that just helps the video. Like, once the stream is over, that just helps the video grow over time. It helps our channel grow, and it helps the community grow. So if you want to be a friend, hit that like button for us. At the 201, I am a little surprised, but
okay.
Jalen Milroe comes off the board at the 201. I have told you guys many times about how terrible the second round hit rate is for quarterbacks in fantasy football, but yet we always, each and every year, see people take shots on quarterbacks who go round 2, 3, 4. It's a 12.5% hit rate in the last decade on second round quarterbacks. Now, what I will say is if you ever want to take a shot on a second round quarterback, that quarterback has to have serious rushing appeal. And Jalen Milroe has that rushing appeal. So while I'm not the biggest fan of the pick, I think if you're going to bet on one, then this is the way you do it in the second round. Jalen Milroe to the Seahawks in the second round will probably sit this year in this scenario behind Geno Smith, and that's good because despite him having a lot of work in college football, a lot of starts, he still has a long way to go.
Yeah, I like this landing spot for him, even though the second round hit rate is not exciting. As we find out who the 202 is, but yeah, this could be somebody that is set with some good opportunities and good team around him, right? Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, JSN, the list goes on, really. DK Metcalf, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, I agree.
At the 202, we get Jalen Royals, which where Royals go?
Saints round 2, I think.
Yes, he went to New Orleans Saints, early second round pick. Being the wide receiver 2, flanking there, Chris Olave.
I love Jalen Royals, man. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a ceiling on Jalen Royals. I really don't think that ceiling exists, honestly. Like, him as a player, I've said this before, only played 7 games, but was on track to have over 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, almost 100 receptions. A foot injury really stopped his season, but the film is incredible. Like, honestly, I don't know how anyone could put Jalen Royals' film on and say, this guy's not worthy of being in the first round of the NFL draft. Honestly, he is worthy of being a first round pick.
Oh boy.
But I don't know if it's going to happen.
Definitely could. Hopefully he goes to a good team. I always get scared because the guys that people like so much that we question if they're a first round pick go to teams at the end of the first round that we don't want them to go to.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, not all the time, but like you think of, all right, at the end of the first round, is he gonna go to the Ravens? People will be upset about that. Is he gonna go to the Vikings? People will be upset about that.
No, people would. Yeah, the Vikings, that's fair.
You get I'm just saying, like, saying a couple random teams, just thinking of who was in the last.
Well, Ricky Pearsall last year is a good example. Love the spot,
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I think Jalen Roll is incredible talent. At the 203, this is where we see Colston Loveland come off the board. He was a first-round pick, yay! But he went to the Eagles. And I personally, as a NFC East fan, do not want to see that happen. I'd prefer if we didn't just give them a game-changing tight end, receiving tight end in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts has every option available to him already to succeed. Can we please not do this? All right, so at the 204, this is where we see, I believe this is Jaden Higgins who comes off the board. Where did he go in the mock
He went
draft
to the Patriots in the early second round.
Okay,
so he's
Patriots early second round. He comes off the board. Look, I like Jaden Higgins a lot, but my only issue with Jaden Higgins, and you said early second round to the Patriots. All right, that makes sense. I mean, look, the landing spot, you can make the same case as Polk. There's no one who's established themselves, and, you know, it's open. It's free game if you can claim it. But my issue with Jaden Higgins is that every time I watched Jaden Higgins, because there was such a hype when I was going through this process, all right, let me watch Jaden Higgins. And every time I put on Iowa State and I was watching Jaden Higgins, I was more obsessed with who's number 13. Who's number 13 that keeps making these plays? By the way, I know I'm supposed to like Jaden Higgins, but they just threw to number 13. The route he ran was absolutely nasty. The guy stretched the field. I mean, I kept falling in love with his teammate, Jalen Knoll. That's my problem with falling in love with Jaden Higgins, is I just kept falling in love with Jalen Knoll. I love that player. I feel like he's truly like a Josh Downs, but he's in sheep's clothing. Like, no one can see how good Jalen Knoll is because they're all obsessed with Jaden Higgins. In my opinion, like, Jalen Knoll there's no doubt in my mind that he can produce in the NFL. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Jalen Knoll can produce in the NFL. He can be an absolute dominant slot receiver. He can play outside. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. So that's my issue with Jaden Higgins, is maybe, you know, it's like that meme. You know that meme where, like, it's that guy walking with his girlfriend and then he's, like, looking over his shoulder like, oh, like.
Yeah, turns around like, ooh.
That's it for me watching the film. I was like, oh, but look at Jalen Knoll. And like, no, you have Jaden Higgins. You know, Jaden Higgins is loyalty. But look at Jalen Knoll over there, man. I mean, that guy is doing something different. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of his game. But look, in this scenario, in this world we're living in, he gets pretty good opportunity there.
Yeah.
All right. At the 205.
What do we have?
Cam Scatterboot.
Give me the aura of Cam Scatterboot. And it looks like he went to the Broncos. Cam.
Where did he go?
Where is he? I'm trying to find him. Cam Scatty. Am I spelling his name wrong?
Could be. Let's see. Cam Scat. Yeah, he goes to the Broncos. This looks like round 3. He's Cameron. That's why you're probably not able to find it. But yeah, Cameron Scatterboot, round 3 to the Broncos. You know, Javonte Williams, no long-term deal. I think he's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. There's been no running back to really establish themselves in this offense. So
not at all.
I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm a big fan of Cam Scatterboot. I can't help but see David Montgomery when I watch his film. Not going to, like, you know, house anything necessarily, but he's going to break down the offense carry by carry. All right, at the 206, we see Travis Hunter come off the board. Who, I'll save you guys from my whole spiel of how I think he could be one of the best values in rookie drafts this year. But he does come off the board there at the 206, is that? And in this scenario, he goes to your Giants. He would be a great complement receiver to Malik Neighbors. You guys would have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL if he went there.
Shout out to with no quarterback.
With no quarterback.
Come on.
But waiting on 2026 for someone to step into that spot.
And then Archie just comes in and it's like Eli all over again.
Yeah.
What a year.
Yes. All right. So someone said, why don't you go scout for the Bears? They need it. Hey, if anybody from any NFL team, ever watches the content, hit me up. All right. I'm happy to. Rick Spielman, who I love watching CBS. And by the way, one of our favorites from PFF now works at CBS. Mike Renner. Love Mike Renner. I missed Mike's show with.
Does he work at CBS now?
Yeah, he works at CBS.
Oh.
And anyway.
What's he doing there?
He covers like the NFL draft with him. It's awesome. I'm sure he has various roles. Okay. But Rick Spielberg, they kind of like different teams, like the Commanders did, for example, hire him out as like a consultant to hire GMs. Any NFL teams out there want to? I'll consult. I'll show you my hits. But
maybe
anyway,
we should go to the Senior Bowl or to the NFL Combine.
I'd love to.
And just
honestly though, like I keep seeing people say that the Combine is going to change the rankings, and I would love to ask them like why. Like, please, let's go back and look at history and look at the amount of times people have overreacted to the Combine. Combine, I think, contributes to about 10% of our grade. So, will it impact things? Yes. But will it, everyone's like, yeah, the Combine is going to determine everything. You were probably out on Bucky Irving if the Combine determined everything last year.
It just determines their draft capital, but doesn't change how talented they are if you do scout them. And that was a big thing with Bucky last year. That was probably a big thing with Kyrie Williams a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Matthew Golden comes off the board here at the 207. Where did he go in this draft, Badaki?
Matthew Golden, he went to the Cowboys in the 3rd round.
Okay, Cowboys in the 3rd round. I mean, makes sense. This could be your Brandon Cooks replacement long term. They could definitely use another wide receiver to stretch the field there and, to complement CeeDee Lamb. If they're not going to go wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, I think it could make sense to grab Matthew Golden there, who, I think Bond is more talented, honestly, I do, but he hasn't put it together like Matthew has, so I think it makes a lot of sense. All right, at the 208, what are you doing here?
Jack Besh, he went to the Panthers.
Damn it.
In the 2nd round, and maybe he steps up. Maybe he's the Adam Thielen for them. The Adam Thielen replacement.
He's the Puka Nacua for them.
Or the Puka Nacua, however way you want to put it. They just need somebody.
Yeah, they definitely do need somebody. Have you had a chance to watch Jack Besh yet? Or
no, I haven't watched him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of this game.
I watched Higgins, Golden, Royal, and Knowles already.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of his game, and man, I think he has all the traits to translate at the next level. I'm a huge fan of him. All right, and then at the 209, this is where we see Harold Fannin come off the board.
Where'd he go?
I'm a big fan of Harold, honestly. I mean,
the Chiefs.
He went to the Chiefs round 3.
Yeah, early round 3.
Which is how could it be early round 3 unless did they do a trade? Maybe that must be the Titans pick. Remember they traded L'Jarius Sneed?
True. That might be the Titans pick. So because it's the 2nd overall pick.
3rd round Titans have a hit rate of 10.7%. So not exactly the best news, but extremely talented player. Would make this offense really a different level of lethal. And I mean, he's such a good receiving talent. I don't think he's going to help much as in your run game, but such a good receiving talent. I like the pick. I like him being there. Now, let me just see where some of my favorite players went off the board. All right, I can see where that player went. Let's see. How about some of these guys? Just scrolling through the mock drafts. Ooh, I do like that.
Oh, you like that?
You like that? Can I ask a question? Has anyone taken Dylan Sampson yet?
No.
I see a very clear need where Dylan Sampson went. I really like Dylan, man. I mean, this dude went absolute sicko mode entire year at Tennessee. They lost Jalen Wright, a very impactful player for them, and they didn't even skip a beat in the run game. I mean, Dylan Sampson was so explosive, so dynamic, and put up insane numbers. He goes to the Browns in round 3. The Browns desperately need a new running back. And this is not anti-Nick Chubb. This is just, it's over. Time comes for all man. Injuries come for most running backs. And it's time to move on, I think, from Nick Chubb for these Cleveland Browns. I don't think there's any long-term contract for him. Injuries and injuries and injuries. Such a talented player. It's a damn shame. We see it all the time. But I think it's time for the Browns to select their new starting running back. And I think Dylan Sampson can be that. In fact, if you loved Bucky Irving, I definitely think you're going to like Dylan Sampson. So I'll take him off the board there. At the 211, Isaiah Bond does come off the board. Is there any Texas fans out there? Can you guys tell me if Isaiah Bond has declared? I honestly think, like, I feel like he's going to come back to school. I just don't think he's completely disappeared when he needed to be there the most. I just feel like he's going to come back to school, man. Honestly, I mean,
I'm trying to see.
I struggle to value him right now. He's the most difficult player to value in this class right now, easily. At the 212, RJ Harvey comes off the board. Former Virginia Cavalier, if you didn't know. He actually declared to play at Virginia as a quarterback, but the issue is he's 5'10", I think 200 pounds or something. So he was never going to play quarterback. But then he transferred to UCF and has had one of the most efficient seasons of any running back in college football.
Shout out to the UCF Knights, huh?
Yeah. They're actually a really fun team to rebuild in EA College Football 25 as well. Their jerseys, they have an insane amount of jerseys to choose from.
Tampa.
But, yeah, did you used to live by UCF?
Yeah, I almost went to UCF, actually.
Oh, really? What were you going to study?
Yeah. I was just going to, I don't remember, actually. I was going for marketing, and then I did photography. That's what I was going to do.
Okay, yeah.
That
is the end of round 2, guys. Do us a favor. Tell us who you think was the best value pick in round 2. Let's hear some opinions here. Let's hear some thoughts. Who was the best value pick in round 2? What do you think, Badaki? Who is the best value in round 2 in your opinion?
I have to say probably Travis.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah, Travis or...
Yeah.
Nah, Travis.
Yeah, I really like the Travis Hunter pick as well. You know, goes to your Giants. Obviously, you know, Malik Neighbors is going to be the number 1 there. That's just the reality of the situation. But uber talented player, probably the most talented player in this class, pound for pound. So I like that pick a lot. I think that makes a ton of sense. The chat says Samson. I don't know. Whoever like took Samson, I don't know. Like, who's this guy at the 110 just with bangers the entire draft? He took Judkins, Samson. I mean, I don't know who this guy is, but it looks like he knows what he's doing. We've got Hunter. We've got a Matthew Golden here. We have a Travis Hunter as well. Cam Scadaboo, Travis. So a lot of people saying Travis. A lot of people saying Samson. A lot of people saying Matthew Golden as well. All right, let's move on to round 3 here. We will do round 3. Let's do round 3 quick fire. Round 3.
Quick fire. Bang, 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 bang.
Let's do quick fire here. All right, so just keep picking kickers and keep telling us in the chat who you want to draft. Let's get the mock draft in the chat for you guys as well, so you can see all the landing spots. But at the 301, a running back that I love comes off the board. and you'll probably hear me say that a lot this offseason because there's so many running backs I like. But Devin Neal comes off the board at the 301. Can you tell us where Devin Neal went in this mock?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I think he went in the 5th round to the Carolina Panthers, which is not ideal.
Actually, I don't like that pick anymore. I mean, they need a backup now.
I mean, yeah, technically, yes, they need a backup, but
yeah, it's tough
just
to
not
think about
okay.
that long term. Yeah,
100%.
It's definitely not a fantasy-friendly landing spot, shall we say?
No, not at all.
All right.
GG's, thank you for your service.
After we see Devin Neal at the 302, Styles is committing the cardinal sin here. All right, he goes Jackson Dart. I don't have a photo of Jackson Dart yet still, but Jackson Dart went in round 3 to the Raiders. No rushing appeal. Round 3 hit rate in the last decade is 0%. So Jackson Dart would have to do something that no quarterback in the last decade has done to return his value. But Styles, he's going to do his thing. All right. At the 303, I was hoping this player would fall to me. I have a 2nd round value on him in Dynasty rookie drafts. That is Woody Marks. He goes to the Ravens. I think round 4.
Previous marks.
I think round 4, but he goes to the Ravens. You know, if there's any future beyond Derrick Henry, I think Woody could be an incredible answer for them. Honestly, to be honest, like what Justice Hill gives this team, Woody's going to elevate that by 4 times. You know, like he would be such an upgraded version of Justice Hill. At the 303. Oh, sorry. Woody doesn't go there. That's Jackson Dart. I don't have a photo of him. My bad.
I'm sorry making these some of these for you now so I don't forget.
At the 304, that's where we see DJ Giddens come off the board. And can you tell us where DJ Giddens went in this mock draft?
He went to the Giants in the 4th round, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that would be really, really tough to evaluate. Him and Tyrone Tracy.
Gotta call.
I mean, Tyrone, considering what your offense looked like, for him to be as efficient as he was this year, honestly, very, very impressive. But DJ Giddens is a good prospect in his own right. And similar to Tyrone Tracy, like they're both still learning the position. Not that DJ was like a wide receiver, switched over, but more that DJ just didn't play football much in his younger life.
Yeah, which is not ideal.
At the 305, we do see Trey Harris come off the board. I think he went to the Texans. Is that right? Trey Harris? I think he went to the Texans. I'll have to double check. Let me see.
Hold on, give me a sec. I was just trying to make this graphic for you so I don't forget. Trey Harris, he did go to the Texans. He went to the Texans in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. I think that makes a lot of sense. Especially in the 3rd round. You know, if Trey Harris ends up being at the 3rd round, then yeah, I mean, he'll be an easy pick to make.
Yeah, I agree.
At the 306, Lil Sleepy, I think, fell asleep because he's not making a pick. So I'm going to make a pick for Lil Sleepy here because he fell asleep, I think, on us. And we're going to probably go Jalen Knoll with his pick, which is upsetting because that's definitely who I would have drafted. But Jalen Knoll goes to the Jags. I think he's the perfect Christian Kirk replacement long-term for that team.
Lil Sleepy said Tez Johnson, actually.
Oh. Well, you're going to get Jalen Knoll and you're going to like it. All right, I'm kidding. We can give him Tez Johnson then. Let's see. Where did Tez Johnson go in the draft?
Tez went to the, I think the Bucks.
Okay, Tez Johnson to the Bucks. Love the player. Honestly, I love Tez Johnson.
Yeah,
really don't like that landing spot though.
In the 3rd round.
Feels like he would be like a primarily field stretcher for them in that offense, and I don't love that. At the 307, another graphic that we need that I don't have. Oradone Gadsden II. He went to the Chargers. You know, it's easy to make the case for this. Really good player, really good athlete. And you got Greg Roman there in that offense, and you have Will Disley, who was super relevant for fantasy football this year as well. So, yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. At the 308, you're on. Oh, at 307. 308, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Troy Horton, please.
Torrey Horton off the board. Panthers?
No, he went to the Titans.
Okay. We don't have a Torrey Horton graphic, but just imagine him to the Titans there. Then we see at the 309, Sammy Stacks. What are you doing, Sammy? Liam says, do you have contact email for Flock Fantasy? I had the wrong promo code in when I got the annual Mother Flocker, and it doesn't come with your team review. Look, if it was by accident, you can talk to our devs. They might be able to help. Let's see. Discord. Go to our Discord, and then once you're there, go to the Site Issues tab. All right, and have a chat with our developers. They will DM you and figure out what is possible. All right, let me put this in the chat here. Here it is. That's our Discord link. Go to the Site Issues tab, and our developers are there. You know, and we'll see what's possible. At the 308, you went with Torrey Horton. At the 309, we had Xavier Restrepo, who came off the board. Where did Restrepo go?
He went to the Cardinals.
Okay, Cardinal. Honestly, that landing spot's pretty nice, actually. I like that landing spot a lot. Round. I'm going to grab Jalen Knoll here then. I'll be the one to reap the rewards of Mr. Jalen Knoll, who goes to the Jags in round 3. Again, I think the perfect long-term Christian Kirk replacement. You can play him in the slot. You can play him out wide. Josh Downs type of shades of a player. And ultimately, I'm a huge fan of his game. At the 302, we had Jackson Dart. We don't have an image of him.
Yeah, we don't have an image for Jackson Dart, unfortunately. Which, let's get these bad boys up here.
And then at the 311, we saw Bashul Tootin come off the board. I love me some Bashul Tootin. We need a graphic for him as well. My bad. But I do love me some Bashul Tootin. Really, really fun player to watch. Really explosive. Massive fumbling issue, though. That is something that he's going to have to work on a lot. In fact, you'd be shocked if I told you how many fumbles he had this year. I think it was like 8. Or is that over the span of 2 years? Let me remind myself. Let me look at my notes. Where is it? I actually don't have it in my notes. But I just know that off the top of my head from reviewing him. Yeah, definitely an area he needs to improve. But no prospect is perfect in this class. At the 312, another graphic we don't have, Savion Williams comes off the board. Another hype name that I need to draft, or I need to scout. I've heard really good things about him. So we'll have to wait and see.
Omarion.
But I do appreciate everybody for being here. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button, do us a favor. Hit that like button to show some love. And no one's going to risk it all for Mononga? I guess not. I guess no one decided to do it. Brizzleton says, I'm glad I didn't say his name in the chat because I was looking for him in his mug draft. I must have overlooked him. King Tut. A lot of people call him King Tut. But yeah, no, it was honestly really fun to watch him. In the highlights I've seen, I need to scout him. But in the highlights I've seen, he's a really fun, explosive player.
For who? Who is this? King Tut? Who's that?
Bashul Tootin.
Oh, Bashul Tootin, right.
Yeah. Guys, we do appreciate you for being here with us. Do us a favor, smash that like button to show some love. We already hit 100 likes, which is awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
And when does Sleeper usually add rookies? It takes a while, doesn't it? I mean, wasn't it like late March last time?
Yeah, it was around there. Like right before, I think they had them right before the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl? But not the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. But they were earlier last year than they were the year before. So maybe
they were the year before.
Maybe they'll be earlier again. No one wants Kyron Lacey.
Have him on.
Did you hear about Kyron Lacey?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's not okay.
Yeah.
I heard about Henry Ruggs getting on parole.
Yeah.
And
at the age of 26.
Dude. Comeback's real. You know he's working out in there, brother.
Yeah, he say if Henry Ruggs is on a team in the year 2027, that's absolutely insane. Yes, guys, we know the story of Kyron Lacey. It is very unfortunate. All around, honestly, very stupid from him, and he's gonna probably have his entire life to learn that lesson.
Yeah,
unfortunately, for all parties involved. All right, so we're gonna transition the stream now. Like we said, this is a 2-part stream. The first part was doing a Dynasty rookie draft. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. We had a lot of fun. Hopefully you had some fun too. And we'll keep doing these throughout the entire offseason.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
We will transition the stream now to do some Dynasty team reviews, get some Dynasty playbooks out there, because we do have a little bit of a queue, and we are dedicated to you guys to getting that queue done and dusted as soon as we can. We want to make sure that you guys feel valued, that we're able to turn these things around in a reasonable amount of time. So there are 2 ways you can get your team reviewed by us and get your Dynasty playbook. All right. The first option is, regardless of what promo code you used at sign up, you can go to the a la carte store on the Flock Fantasy website. And this is what it will look like when you're there. This is what the a la carte store will look like. You'll see in the bottom right of the Flock site, there's a little button, and you can click team review. If you haven't already linked up your teams, definitely do so. I never hit start stream, by the way. We're going to have to put times on this, sorry. But you can link up your team. Once you've done that, you'll hit continue. Then make sure you choose your team, right? Make sure you have the right one. Make sure you have all the right rookie picks. If you don't have, if you need to add one, you can add a rookie pick in to show us. But once you've gone through that process, all right, again, make sure you click your team. Make sure the rookie picks are correct. When you hit continue, you'll see Zach Mbadaki from Fantasyland. Now, if you want an offline version, that's just the regular team playbook. We've already had a lot of people purchase the offline version. It's been awesome. They prefer it because they don't want their league mates to see the review. Now, if you're out there and you want a live review, which we'll do a lot of those. Sorry? If you want a live review, which we'll do a lot of those today, it's just $10 more to prioritize your review, so we can make sure and show you some extra loving on the live stream. But yeah, that's how you can get your team review. The other way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. So again, when you become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, you get a team playbook, which is what we were just talking about. This is DM to you. If you're doing an offline version, it gets DM to you. We'll send you a message, say, hey, we just finished it. You'll get a DM with this within 48 hours. If it's a live version, we'll tell you on the live stream, exactly how long you should expect to wait to get your team playbook. But it's a completely guided graphic towards your Dynasty team, specified to individual trades that you should make, how to spend your draft picks, and more. Not only do you get the team playbook, you also get our 2025 rookie report. Again, we need to update this graphic, which our 2025 rookie report is already on the Flock Fantasy website. You can see version 1's up there right now. Version 2.0 is incoming soon. A lot of things that we're adding to version 2, but you can see lots of information, rankings, individual breakdowns of every single player, and more. Historical hit rates will be there very soon as well. Individual summaries for every player as well. So lots of stuff we're working on there. You get the rookie report, a team playbook. You also get access to all of the premium tools on the website, like the My Teams feature, where you can kind of see where your team ranks amongst the rest of your league. The prospects model, which is awesome. We just had Corey from Stock Exchange put that up there. There's a lot of different things that you can kind of view long term. Our rankings, obviously, the trade calculator, the trade finder, all that is available when you become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We do believe that is the best bang for your buck. But let's get to this first review here. Unfortunately, again, I forgot to hit the start button. So we're going to have to send messages to these guys. In fact, let me just send a message to... Let's commit to 3 today. 3 reviews today.
Yep.
And I'm just going to let them know, hey, we are reviewing your team live now. And then we're going to have to put time codes on this
Do you want
stream.
to do 4 and then Crush? We just do both teams back to back?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because technically Crush has 2 teams. He'll be 2 out of the 3 technically.
Is Crush here?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was just saying, if you wanted to do that, we could just put both Crushes in one.
Okay, yeah.
And then have 2. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Specifically for time, for the time code sake.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. That's actually fine. There's no problem with
Yeah.
that. All right, shall we transition over? Let's see here. Let me get my reviews up.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay. So we do have Krush 5, who has submitted 2 teams for us.
Shout out to you, man. Thanks for the love.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. When you are watching this, we appreciate you. We're going to do your first team here, and then we'll get to your second team right after this team. Okay, since we kind of committed to 3. Anyways, so the first team here, which I'll read the context.
What number is this that we're looking at right now?
Krush 5.
37?
Yes, this is 37.
Cool. Okay, yeah. 37. Awesome.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, trying to figure out how best to build out my depth for the team. For this team, with it being a start 13. I have the 103 this year after making some really bad trades. Love your videos and thank you for the advice. Appreciate you, Krush. Thank you so much for the support. You've been a huge supporter of us.
Wow, start 13.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Okay, I mean, we have never had to go that deep on a review. That's what she said.
That's
start
what
13, 2 quarterback. Badaki, this is definitely depth is king. Let's just say depth is king XL when you make the graphic.
Yeah, XL, love it.
Because because this is not common. Oh my gosh, let's think about this for a second. Okay, start 13 super flex league. That means that you can start up to 8 receivers or 8 running backs. You have 6 flex spots or 3 starting wide receivers and 5 flex spots. Either way, this is the deepest Dynasty team we've reviewed on the stream, at least so far.
100%. This is definitely the deepest, and yeah.
Yeah. So let's have a look. His team name is Krush 5.
His team name is D. Leffer. I was trying to find it because it's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't know if you go to the front page, you can kind of see that team name.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, that's weird that that's not showing. Okay, but yeah, okay, D. Leffler. So that's the second team. You're currently ranked 2 in my rankings, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But let's have a look here. Go ahead and walk us through his team. Let me just quickly open this instead of streamer mode. Let me open this in my reviews tab because it's not going to send them a link. Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. At the quarterback position, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, and Joe Milton. I think this quarterback room is great. 2 young quarterbacks that are growing up. 3 young quarterbacks, actually. Technically 4 young quarterbacks when you really think about it. Yeah. But 2 of your starters are Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, and then Trevor Lawrence as your QB3. At the running back position, which according to the rankings, you are technically last. Trey Benson, Aldrich Estime, Isaiah Davis, and honestly, the list goes on there. Obviously, drafting Trey Benson last year probably wasn't the best move.
I loved him, so I see why you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not the best move now in hindsight, but it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
And at the wide receiver position, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Lad the Space Creator, DJ Moore, and the list goes on with a lot of.
Whatever you were saying, just say again in the last 20 seconds.
I was basically just saying, like, I don't know if you guys heard the tight end spot, but I was like, the didn't. Tight end's just a Tavion Sanders is basically the only one we can kind of talk about. Obviously, great, phenomenal not high stack wide receiver room, and Amon-Ra basically to DJ Moore, which is really top heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying, like, this starting lineup must obviously is huge, but the bench space is also tremendous as well.
Yeah, let's think about
Right.
this. What the starting lineup looks like right now, by the way, right? Because start 13. So Herbert, Nix. Then what? Benson, Estime, maybe? You don't have a starting running
Sure.
back. Then Amon-Ra, Nico, Jatavion, I guess.
Yeah.
Then at flex, you now need 5. No,
Yeah,
6.
5.
6 more players to start. You
Yeah,
now need
okay,
6
so-
more players to start.
which would be Lad, DJ. Let's just say.
Lad,
Let's
DJ, and then who? Like you still need 4 flexible names. What, Michael Wilson, I guess? Are you gonna start Noah Fant? I don't know. So you're in a very difficult position, but the good news is you're ranked 2nd, which means the rest of your league is probably in just as difficult of a position as you. Although as I'm looking at some of these teams, they are definitely way deeper than your team. Like specifically Young for Life is very deep compared to your team. But regardless, this type of format, like we said, Depth is King XL. Names like Jordan Addison are like gold in this format. You know, they like the Jordan Addisons of the world, absolute gold. The Josh Downs of the world, absolute gold. And I'm not trying to like disrespect any of these players. I'm just saying like the guys in like a shallower format who wouldn't matter mean a lot. Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers,
Massive. Yeah,
Juwan
they're all
Jennings,
massive.
right? Cedric Tillman, Jalen Coker. These names, Rashid Shaheeds of the world. These names are very, very important in your format. Now, the draft capital, he mentioned he has the 103. All right, so the 103, let's assume that his other picks are also 3rd overall.
Yeah, so the 203, the 103, and the 303.
103, the 203, and the 303. Does he have? He has other picks, right?
Yeah, he has a 26. He has a 225 4th rounders, which one isn't his. Both aren't his, excuse me.
Okay. And then he has his picks in 26, which is good. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, let's grade this team overall. You went 6-22 this year. I'm not surprised at all, honestly. I'm surprised you won 6 games, or I guess against the median. Overall grade of this team today, considering everything, including the starting lineup, I'd probably put this like C-
Yeah.
territory.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
That's where I was going. C-.
At least you have the top 3 pick. I mean, draft capital, you're at like A- maybe, you know?
Yeah, I'm there with you.
So 30 the way median works, by the way, anybody out there who doesn't know, is you have your matchup, just like normal fantasy football, right? You have your matchup and you win or you lose. Now, when you have a league against the median, everybody has a second matchup every week, and the top 6 scorers in that league in a 12 team, the top half, they get a win. The bottom half scorers in that week, they get a loss. That's how median works. But yeah, I think there's a lot of work to do on this team. Honestly, I do think there's a lot of work to be done. And I would be a huge advocate of trading down from the 103. All right. Let's just say option 1, stick and pick. We'll play that scenario out. But I would be a huge advocate of trading down considering this format.
Sure. Yeah, I would agree. I actually don't mind that. And seeing, what type of value you can get, because in reality, you want these guys that could hit in the 2nd or in the late 1st and still have depth, right? Can you get to, early 2nd round picks, hypothetically, let's just say, for the 103 and something, right? Because you need depth on this team, and that's what you're lacking right now. Because in reality, you only have 4 starting wide receivers when you can start up to a total, if I'm not mistaken, of 8. So you need another 4.
Yeah. I would definitely trade back or trade away the 103 in this league. And let's play out that scenario, okay? Because, I mean, there's a lot of moving that we can do with this roster. But first things first, just quickly, I don't know that there is an untouchable on this roster. I guess you could say a Amon-Ra, but I wouldn't be in this format.
Yeah, you wouldn't be
I
opposed
wouldn't be opposed
like,
to tearing down.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. For the graphics sake though, Crush, when you are watching this, you are gonna see Amon-Ra and most likely Nico on that, but it just depends on if you want to go that route, okay?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
You can easily drop Kendall Milton. Cordell Patterson, can be dropped. I'd say Anaya Smith can be dropped. Elijah Higgins can be dropped. Tanner McLaughlin can be dropped. These are all names that you can drop. Jace McClellan. And as far as holds, I think Trevor's a hold at this point. I don't think you can. Like, I'd rather sell Herbert and keep Trevor based off of maximizing value. So I think Trevor's a hold. I think Trevor will be a fine quarterback too, especially in this format, how deep it is.
Did you say someone like a Trey Benson's a hold?
Benson's a hold for sure, yeah.
You can't get any value out of him.
And he could still take the job long term.
Yeah.
Theo Johnson, if you need another one, isn't a terrible hold. AJ Barner, but we don't have to have those guys as holds either.
We have enough for
okay, so again, the idea is because your depth is so important in this format, I'd rather have, a Judkins and a Jalen Royals than a Hampton. And just as an example, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%. What we want to do is move from the 103. I wouldn't even mind if we traded the 103 for like 3 really quality players either. But first, let's talk about the pathway for this team real quick. Because obviously that's going to determine a lot of the moves that we make, right? We want to be in unison there. And we gave this team a C-. I think this is...
I'm putting this as a sleeper team with the route and the picture that we're about to paint. If we're saying sell Amon-Ra, tear down, if we're saying to tear down from the 103, he could potentially have a starting team that could compete.
Okay.
I
lean 1 year punt, but I guess I can see that happening.
Right? I guess that's the gap, right? If we tell him to sell Amon-Ra, Nico, you keep Ladd and you get, 2 players for Amon-Ra, 2 players for Nico and Capital, and you trade back in the first.
Well, doesn't that just make him an in or out team then? Because he has to decide. Sleeper or 1 year punt. That's really the direction you're going. So technically you're just an in or out team.
In or out, yeah.
That we make. Okay, so at the 103, let's find... Well, we don't know where these teams are, unfortunately, because your draft picks aren't showing up because your league hasn't established them just yet. But in theory, what we want to do is trade back to the from the 103 to the 104 to the 110 maybe, plus future firsts or valuable players, right?
Yeah.
And in theory, let's just find a team as an example, who has their pick.
We can just go by the record, right? So any teams that are,
that's fair.
4-2 or not 4-2, but 4-24.
Let's say the guy who's 14-14, for example, right? He has his first round pick. Can you tier down? Let's say he has, a late first. And can you find your way into a future first from this player? Can you find your way into a Laporta, a Hawkinson? Can you find your way into a Myers? alongside of that because that's a quality starter in this format.
Yep.
You know, like those are the kind of. So, for example, 103. What's that guy? What's that team name? Let's see. Megatron. And then we want like, hey, give us a Sam Laporta and a Jacoby Myers. That's assuming his pick is like the 110, as an example.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For him. Let's see. How about the team who's 13 and 15? They have their own first-round pick. Like, for example, Jaden Reed. Quality player in this format. He's the perfect example, actually, for what we've been talking about. So you trade back, grab a Jaden Reed, grab a... I want to say Aiden O'Connell, but Kincaid?
Yeah, I was going to say Dalton is probably the guy I would go for.
Yeah.
Or Dalton, or I would even try Shakira if you want to do 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, what's his team name? The best team? Okay.
We the best. Music. Gangsta Grills, you bastard.
And then, let's see. The 10-18, you're probably not going to be able to trade back with. The team that's 16 and 12, they don't have their own first-round pick, unfortunately. 19 and 9, you might be able to tier down with and get, let's say, I don't really want to do that with this team because they don't have the tier down options. But, you know, another example, like, again, the 103, you can tier down for a late 2025 first plus a future first. Plus a couple seconds, plus 2 seconds. I don't know. Like, it depends on how far down you're tiering. But
yeah,
in this format, I think it's going to be very beneficial to you to consider that option. Eating Yo Girls cookies. They don't have their own first round pick though, so someone's eating their cookies.
Yeah, but some of these players, and maybe what we should say is just like, you know, players that do mean something, whether they're on a team or not. So, like, for example, we love the Josh Downs, like you said, the Jordan Addisons, the Darnell Mooney's, which I think we kind of mentioned earlier.
Josh Allen.
Josh Downs.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, I thought you said
Allen.
Like, what?
These guys are pretty big in these leagues. So if you can acquire them for late picks, even though most likely they're not going to go for late picks in a format like this.
Yeah. I mean, the list is pretty massive. I can go through it real quick, but the list is honestly massive. But let's think through it real quick. So like names like Jameson Williams, Downs, Coleman, Jerry Jeudy, Sutton, Tracy, Shakir, McMillan. I don't know about running backs like Brian Robinson, but like the vets like Adams, Cup, Debo, Ricky Pearsall, the Moonies of the world, the Jacoby Myers of the world, the Legettes, Johnston, like these first round picks that haven't really popped off yet. Najee Harris to an extent, like he'll have a role somewhere, you know.
Sure.
Jennings for sure. Stephon Diggs, who is going to be a free agent. Coker, Romeo Dobbs is actually a really good example, like Romeo Dobbs, who can pop off on any week. Christian Kirk going down with that injury, coming back. Hollywood Brown. Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas is like a quality starter that someone's relying on in this format, which is crazy, this Start 13 format. So, yeah, I think that's your best route there with your first rounders. And, like, even the 203...
happening, Kevin?
What's up, Kev? I wouldn't mind. No, I think outside of the 103, that's really where you're going to extract value. Everywhere else, I think you go BPA.
I would agree. You go best player available there.
But the idea of tearing down from Amon-Ra, should we explore that?
Yeah, we definitely can. Because in reality, you know, Amon-Ra could vet you 3 players or 2 players in draft capital if you really wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at somebody that maybe.
Would you do like a Jeudy, Jameson in a first?
Yeah.
That feels like underselling. But in this format, I don't know really that it is. I mean, we could go Judy, Jameson, let's say 2 future firsts. Could try that. I just think that in this format, people will be aware of how important depth is.
Yeah, where's Amon-Ra ranked in? What's Amon-Ra for you, out of curiosity?
He is ranked as my wide receiver 5.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a top 5 wide receiver here, and I think we can vet more than Jerry and J-Mo. Well, at least 2 future first. Now, adding that second first is pretty big.
Yeah.
At least that was a bit of my concern, you know. Okay, I do like that trade. Now with the 2 first, let's see what else we can get.
You could go Devonta Smith, but I don't see the other pieces from this team that would make sense. I think
I was. Oh, sorry, continue.
I would say like T. Higgins, Zay Flowers makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say T. Higgins. That's exactly what I was gonna. T. Higgins, Zay Flowers feels really good. You know, I mean, how can you even get like the Darnell Mooney thrown in on there? Get 3 players out of that, or a second if you wanted to.
I'd want a 26 first if possible, and maybe you send Amon-Ra and your 203.
I didn't think they had their first. Oh yeah, they did. They didn't have their first in 25. Okay.
But the alternative is like what you said: T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, and Mooney. And then, is there like a running back we can ask for? Like,
they don't have much.
Blake Corum would be a really great stash in this league, this format.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And look, that changes. That alone just changes your lineup completely.
Yeah.
Remember, you need what? It's 6. It's technically 8 wide receivers you can start. You just got 3 for 1.
I'd also add for like ask for like a Rashad Bateman or Malik Washington as well. Yeah, like if basically you want to find the sucker in your league who doesn't understand how important depth is, right? And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, there's another one that could potentially do here. At least you want to do like Rice, Ayuk.
Yeah, I love that. That's where I was going to. Rashee Rice plus Brandon Ayuk plus I think you can get maybe 1 first.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's however way you want to do it. You can do Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Rice in the first. Like whatever that combination of those 3 players, I think are really helpful.
Ayuk has to be one of the pieces though, with his undervalued status right now.
So like that would be pretty big, getting one of those guys.
I agree. I really like that deal. You almost have to find like the perfect team. There's not always a perfect team, is there?
You can do big player and get.
I just don't like the other tier downs.
Yeah, I was thinking.
What, JSN, Bucky?
Yeah, that's where I was going. JSN, Bucky, and something.
And well, they have Bowers and McBride, but they're gonna keep both. But let's say JSN plus Bucky plus a first, and you could add Amon-Ra in your 203.
Bucky. Let's see what that is on Keep Trade Cut. And 2, and then let's just say an early second.
I think we've explored enough tear downs for Amon-Ra. I think I want to go to Herbert. I want to explore Justin Herbert tear down.
Okay.
You know, chasing Breaker, you're right, dude. Like I'm making a trade video this week, and I'm considering adding Bucky in there because every time I talk about Bucky in any sort of content, people say that he's a sell. So that makes me want to buy him because everybody says he's a sell, and I'm like, why would you sell him? He's perfect.
The reason why I'm laughing is because Zach and I obviously were watching the Bucks and Commanders game, and the kick return happened. I was like, holy shit. How long has Rachaad White been returning kicks?
Yeah, I know.
And that's just a sign of like, dude, you lost your job that year returning kicks. That means he was like, I want to do whatever I can to help the team.
Or he was forced to do whatever he could to help the team. But yeah, this
man,
this is actually really, really interesting to see. if you look at splits in the last 2 must-win games, let's have a look here. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Where is it? Let's see. Yes. Okay, splits in the last 2 games. This is Matthew Betts. Okay, so Bucky, 36 carries, Rachaad White, 1. Targets, Bucky, 7, Rachaad White, 2. I mean, he's become the guy easily. Rachaad White is literally a no-name at this point.
And they're using him like in power stance. Like,
yeah,
power plays.
100%.
Keep that in mind. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the goal line carry with Vita Vea that was in, Bucky was in that play, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Anyways.
Let's find a team that is wide receiver needy or quarterback needy, and let's try and sell Justin Herbert. Because in this league, with how important depth is, I'm fine personally with the Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix lineup. I think that's completely fine. So, ideally, we want to find, like, I think Eating Your Girl's Cookies, for example, who has Darnold and Richardson. If we can find our way into a Brian Thomas and then tier down from Brian Thomas or keep him, I think like Brian Thomas, McMillan, or like to me that Brian Thomas Downs, Brian Thomas Debo. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that is where we want to go.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Remember, still super flex league, so we shouldn't undervalue Justin Herbert at all. We also have a team that has Caleb, Russ, Watson, so they're desperately needing an answer. Could you do like a JSN McBride? You'd have to give something else up, but JSN, let's say Herbert and start off with your 303. Because that guy's going to be desperate for a quarterback. It might have to, I would counter and be fine with sending the 203 if need be. But for JSN and McBride,
yeah, I think that's great because you need a tight end essentially in this league as well, or in this team.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd even like be willing to take a shot on Kirk Cousins in a different type of deal, like London Cousins or London Tua. Send the 203. Actually, that could work.
London Tua.
Herbert and the 203 for London and Tua.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Let's see how many other teams have quarterback needs. I don't think anyone else is going to be willing to really play ball because they all have like decent quarterback rooms, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you've kind of found the teams that would play ball already there. But yeah, I mean, that's the direction I'd take this team. Right? I mean, let's think this through real quick. In our ideal world, Badaki, let's just say, for example, we trade the 103. Let's just do like the Laporta Myers deal, okay? And then we tear down from Amon-Ra to the I really like the Rice Ayuk deal as well.
Yeah,
either one of those, right? Let's just play out these 2 worlds, and then we turn Herbert into JSN and McBride. Let's just play this out for a second, okay? So we don't have our top 3 pick. That's fine. We have a late first, but we've added Sam Laporta, Jacoby Myers. We don't have Amon-Ra St. Brown, but we have Ayuk, Rice, and another future first. We don't have Herbert, but we have JSN and McBride. So let's think this through for a second. If you were able to pull off everything, and of course you're not going to be able to pull off everything, but just a rough guide, you'd have Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence. At running back, you would still be like a 1-year punt type of situation here, but you could use that late first on a running back. Let's say it's a Judkins. That future first you could use on a running back if need be, but you have the assets to figure out that position. At wide receiver, though, you have no longer Amon-Ra St. Brown. Instead, you have Rashee Rice, Brandon Ayuk, Jacoby Myers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Nico Collins, Lab McConkey, DJ Moore. I mean, you could even sell off DJ Moore if you wanted to. At tight end, you have Trey McBride, you have Sam Laporta. One of those names you can flex, or one of those names you can sell if you want. And you still have your second round pick, whatever you end up turning that into. That's our ideal world for this team.
This is a great team with this new one. So whichever way you do go with, that's why we put it as in and out, because you can either be in or you can be out on this team. A couple of those moves, a couple of those tear downs can easily make this team a contender, no doubt about it. And if you don't go that route and you say, you know, I want to keep Amon-Ra, I want to keep these guys and Justin Herbert, that's okay. I think the best move for then would just be, all right, how can I tier back in the draft capital and get and maximize my value, right? I mean, getting, you know, DJ Giddens in the 203 if he goes to a decent landing spot, and having, you know, a Costa Loveland or Tyler Warren just changes your team as well, just a little bit. May not be the big significant one as we're talking about here, but it's a starting point, which is exciting. But we appreciate you, Krush. Thank you so much for the team review.
We'll get to his next team now. We answered everything for the playbook, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, we did.
By the way, Brandon says, Zach, you have him as Dynasty running back 4. Bucky, that is. He says he's selling. I can respect everybody's opinion. You know, I'm doing some research for a video myself, but Bucky Irving in 2024 is 4th in yards per carry at 5.4, 7th best run grade, number one in yards after contact per attempt. What do we always love about running backs? Can you turn lemons into lemonade? That's what Bucky does his entire year as a rookie. Number 1 in yards to contact per attempt, 9th in missed tackles forced, 5th in breakaway percentage. He had explosive runs. He was 4th in yards per route run. He was great out of the backfield, and he has continually dominated this role. He has made Rachaad White completely irrelevant. He's turned Rachaad White into a kick returner, and I don't understand why people, like, there's always this feeling in the Dynasty community, like, if a player's good, you have to sell him. Well, you could build around him as well if you wanted to, right? But I can respect it. I know where everybody's got different opinions, you know?
Yeah, and just to build on that, just really quick, they're not, at least my expectation, that they're not going to draft another running back, because if Bucky goes down, you have Rachaad White. It's clear that Bucky was the more superior talent because he already won that job. And Rachaad White is a valuable running back, is a decent running back who we've seen carry this team the year before, specifically in the air, right? But, you know, they will know how to utilize each of those guys. Anyways.
I can definitely understand where people are coming from. People want to maximize value, and I totally get that. But it's funny, like, you know, or people want to, if people want to, like, try to tear down or trade. I mean, if you look at my running back rankings video today, there aren't many. There's like maybe 20 running backs you feel okay about in Dynasty, and honestly, that list is more like 10. So I just don't know that people are going to be willing to tear down very far. But I love the different opinions in the community. What's up, Jelly Boy? Welcome in. All right, Krush. Let's get to Krush's next team review here.
Second team.
This is 39?
Yes, 39.
Okay.
Just keep that order. Krush, we appreciate you. And then we get to the next two after that. Krush here, reading this context, he says the first are the 102, 111, and the 112. This offer has been sent to me. The 101 and the 207 for the 102 and the 111. This is the first Dynasty League I joined and made some really bad trades at the start. Okay. And this is a Superflex 12 team start 11. So this is going to be rolling deep, it looks like.
Oh, wow. Sorry. I just saw Unku said he traded away Saquon for Bucky, the 109 and 27 first. Okay. I'm definitely going to bring Bucky in a video. I'm going to add this to the chalkboard. He said he has a 102, the 111, right?
Yeah, the 102, 111, 112, and he had a trade offer. Which, off the rip, the 101 and the 102, for the 102 and the 111. I need to see the rest of the team before I move on from that. So the 101, which is Ashton Genty, for the 102.
Yeah, in most classes I would do this.
We just have no idea who that 111 can be. Like, if you can guarantee, like, would you do that and guarantee like a Marion Hampton and a Mika Buka, or Marion Hampton and a Tyler Warren for Ashton Genty, essentially? I think putting the name behind it feels better, but we have no idea.
Yeah, we'll have to
what that's going to look like. But anyways, let's have a look at this team. You're currently ranked 5th out of 12, according to Zach's rankings, which is decent, not too bad. Once again, this is a rolling deep, a start 11, so you can start up to 6 wide receivers, 4 in the flex. At the quarterback position here, Josh Allen, Caleb Williams, Joe Milton, Trey Lance. Decent quarterback room, excuse me. That QB3 could potentially be a little bit better. You know, getting the Genos, the Matthew Staffords as a just in case. At the running back position where you are struggling, Blake Corum, Aldrich Estime, so you don't have the strongest running back room. You have the worst running back room actually in this league, according to the rankings here. At the wide receiver position, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen McMillan, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, the list goes on. Also not the strongest wide receiver room, with following that up not having the strongest tight end room in Cade Alton. But the draft capital is there, which could help this team significantly, potentially. So let's have a look here.
Yeah, I mean, not a very good team, let's be honest. I mean, Josh Allen is your only untouchable outside of your own first round pick in your own 20. I'd say your 2026 first round pick should be untouchable too. I would not trade it. You can definitely hold on to Jalen McMillan. Ayuk is a great hold. Judy's a great hold. Most of your wide receivers are Downs, Caleb Williams. You can easily drop names like Justin Watson at this point, and A.T. Perry, and Rondale Moore, Elijah Higgins. These are all really easy drops.
So Jalen McMillan, Josh Downs, Chris Olave, and Jerry Jeudy, you said, are holds?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
I wouldn't do that trade. Like, you know, Wyatt's basically saying exactly what I was thinking. A roster this week.
You need him.
Yeah. You need the picks. You need to hit. There's no reason grabbing a Genty with a roster like that. Unless you think you can draft Genty and then trade him for an even bigger haul than the 101.
Well, this was my argument last time a couple weeks ago. Why trade away the 101? Well, this is what you're saying, right? Don't trade away the 101, or are you saying trade away the 101?
I'm saying you don't make this pick because your team's not in a position to make this trade.
Sure.
Sorry. But if you do make this trade, and then you can flip the 101 into something even more valuable, then it becomes interesting to me.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, because I think once Ashton Genty's in a landing spot, wouldn't that instantly increase his value to be even more? I mean, right now, Ashton Genty, probably without a team, if you're in a Debbie or you drafted him and you're trying to trade for him without knowing, that's probably 2 firsts that you have to trade for Ashton Genty already, right? So I feel like his value is just going to rise, and why not hold Genty and sell him for?
Well, then you would be saying to take this trade then, but.
Well, yes, I would be, but in the sense of you're only doing that to try and flip it. Now that is risky, because that's not guaranteed.
No.
That's the only reason why I'll be interested, is to flip it for even more picks instead of selling it at, I would probably say, the lowest value that you can get right now.
Yeah, I mean, look,
and that's crazy because that's 2 firsts.
Yeah, I think if you know you can flip it for a haul, I'd be willing to do this trade. Like, for example, all right, I give up the 102 and the 111, but I'm going to get the 101, the 207, and then I know I can turn the 101 into the 105 and 2 future firsts.
Yeah, see, I would 100% do that. But once again, that's risky because we don't know. You can't guarantee that.
105 plus 2 future firsts, right? This is like the example of where you do trade it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just put some notes here. Would not do this trade unless you know you can get a better haul for the 101. And then I gave an example down below. Okay, so we've talked about that. Let's talk about the team overall. I think this team is pretty bad. And I think transparency and honesty is what people look for. You were 2-12 this year. That's not a surprise. I would probably put this at, even with the draft capital, C flat.
Yeah, I would say that's generous.
Yeah,
That's generous. I mean, but
I guess with
the draft capital does boost it for sure. Like if you take draft capital away,
C- is probably
team,
more realistic.
this team is like C-. And the only thing outside of the draft capital that is good on this team, respectfully, is most likely Josh Allen. Now you do have guys we like the Chris Olaves and the Brandon Ayuks, but you know, this is a struggle.
Yeah.
But anyways, D-, and I'll say what draft capital is an A, maybe A plus.
Yeah, I'm fine with draft. A feels safe. Pathway for this team. I don't know how this isn't a full rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. A full rebuild with. But are we full rebuilding and selling Josh Allen?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's the only, look at the roster. He's the only name you sell. Everyone else is a hold.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's rock with that.
So let's have a look at selling Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right. I would love to use our Flock Fantasy Trade Finder for this. Let's go Dynasty. Let's go 2 quarterback leagues. Let's go full PPR. Let's go 12 team leagues. I want to see what Josh Allen is worth. And I love showcasing a feature when it doesn't work. Let's see. Am I doing something wrong? Am I an idiot? Let's see.
Let me try it. Give me a sec.
Maybe. I can't type a name in right now. Well, yeah. Could you let the devs know while I whip up some ideas that the trade finder is not functioning?
Yeah.
But I think you should be able to get a haul. Superflex League, you should be able to get a massive, massive trade back. And what we want to do is find a team that was very competitive this year, but has no quarterbacks that you can rely on. For example, this is the perfect team. South Dallas Jerry. Issue is we don't have many draft picks to work with this guy. Like we would need, yeah, he's not going to work, unfortunately. CJ Stroud. Funnily enough, my biggest tier down last year. We're going to use him in a tier down now. What I want is I want CJ Stroud. I also want, let's say Jonathan Taylor, not to build around him, but to trade him in season. I'll also take Jaden Reed. And I want your 26 and 27 first. And maybe we can leave out Jaden Reed if he doesn't want to give us 2 first. So let's start there. You can add Jaden Reed in if you think you can extract more. But I mean, this is the most valuable player in a in your format. This is the most valuable player.
Yeah.
You need a haul. Maybe that's not the perfect haul. Michael Penix seems perfect. How about Michael Penix, Brian Thomas? That's our baseline. Plus, what do you think? 1 first, maybe?
Yeah, 1 first. 1 first feels good.
How about Brock Purdy? Let's go Brock Purdy,
Big Brock the
McBride, and
Brock Purdy,
I
McBride.
think we go Purdy, McBride, and 2 firsts if we went that direction.
When in Rome, hey?
Dak, I don't hate tearing down from Dak because I think what you could do is actually get like a future first out of him as well. But I'm not sure this is the right team to try and tear down with because they are depleted with their depth. Keep chasing greatness. How about
Yeah, I was gonna say Drake.
Jared Goff? What do you think, Jared Goff? Maybe JSN in a first?
I mean, when he, I guess this guy maybe doesn't want Drake. Well, no, I think he can go for Drake May. Yeah, I agree with Jelly. I would go for Drake May. No, I would say that deal can potentially get done with Drake.
I guess I view Drake May way higher than the rest of the community then, because I have him as my quarterback 6. I don't view that as a tear down.
Let me see. Let me see.
Like
what
obviously,
Drake has.
obviously you're tearing down, but I think you get nowhere near this offer. You might get Drake May and a first.
Right. Sure, you can get Drake May in the first,
But-
or Drake May and something. I think I would still want to keep it. Like that still gives you the future to build on and hope and
That just
and be
doesn't seem
excited
like
for.
enough for Josh Allen, and I don't
Sure.
think you get more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can try and add Worthy onto that or something. I don't know, but I don't think that I could be wrong. I just don't know if the Dynasty community is willing to tier.
Keep Drake Cut has him as QB 8.
Okay.
Where's Josh Allen right now? Out of curiosity, he's QB 1. So
Okay.
I mean, that's a tear down. I think. I mean,
Yeah,
go from 1 to 8.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you can do 2 future firsts, then yeah, no doubt. I just don't think that's possible, but I could be
Sure.
wrong. I could be misreading the community. I'm gonna say Caleb, but you have Caleb. That's funny. I don't hate the idea of like a Bryce Young, but this guy already has Daniels and Knicks. Well, how about Knicks? Could you do Knicks Harrison? Or Knicks and 2 firsts?
Knicks Harrison and 2 first, or Knicks and 2 first. Yeah, I'm okay
Just
with
Knicks
that.
and 2 first.
Yeah, I'd rather just get the 2 first and just. If this is full rebuilds, I don't really care. Not that I don't care for the wide receivers, but let's just get picks for the future.
Yeah.
You know.
Or young wide receivers to build around, like whatever they're fine
Sure.
with is what we're saying. But yeah, so Caleb, like, you can't sell Caleb Williams, you hold him. You can only sell Josh Allen. There's not a running back worth talking about selling. All your wide receivers are holds. Olave's undervalued. Ayuk's undervalued. Judy is probably the number 1 again this year. Jalen McMillan, I love. Josh Downs, he's a quarterback. Keon Coleman, I'd be willing to sell for an early second. But you don't need to. You can take that lottery ticket right now. Definitely don't sell your future first with this team.
Yeah.
And then with your draft capital, I mean, I would definitely be max. Like the idea that we are full rebuilding this, I'm not going to suggest to draft a player here. I would absolutely suggest trading back. 100%. Like every pick, you want to maximize value, right? So like the 102, can I get from the 103 to the 110 plus future firsts, etc. Right? There's no scenario where I'm sticking and picking here, if possible. Like, of course, if the best offer is you get the 107 in a future second, then no, absolutely not. We'll just stick and pick. But I would be doing everything I can to maximize value at every pick there. Yeah. I think that's the direction I go with this team.
I do. I like it.
Let's talk
I
about our
would say-
favorite. I love the Penix Brian Thomas trade.
Yeah, I like that as well. For me, it'll be Drake May and then Bo Nix. I think would be exciting.
I'd also add in. You don't have that pick yet, but yeah, I like the golf one too. All right, appreciate you, Krush. I know
would
it's
just say
probably
really quickly-
hard to hear, but it's best to tear this thing down, I think.
I completely agree. I would just say really quickly, just to give him the option for the draft capital, if he doesn't do the trade back, or if the trade back weren't possible to happen, let's just say people are stingy.
Okay, yeah.
Um, just so he knows, like, okay, this is who we would take at the 102 and the
Well,
111.
the issue is my 102 is literally 7 players deep worthy.
Yeah,
I,
which is
I
fine.
could tell you 7 players that you could draft here.
Yeah,
So, yeah, Burden, Ted McMillan. This is why I don't see a reason to stay. But
no, and I agree. Like, I completely agree. Just give him. I would want to give him the option so that he knows
yeah,
that if this is not possible, like
yeah,
if your league is stingy, just go with those guys.
yeah. No, that's
Anyways,
fair. All right, cool. We are moving on to the next team. Appreciate you, Krush. Thanks for the super chats or the team review. Sorry. And your team playbook, my friend, is going to be sent to your DMs. Same place where you had the team review within 48 hours. So that playbook will be specifically customized to everything we talked about today. You'll have 2 for both of your teams, specifically customized with, those trade recommendations, the chalkboard, what to do with your draft capital, positional priorities, etc. All that will be available to you within the next 48 hours for those 2 teams. And if you guys are watching this out there and you want your team reviewed, you want your Dynasty playbook, there's 2 ways to get it. First way is by purchasing one through the a la carte store. Zach and Badaki land. Make sure if you want it live, you get the extra $10 on that tier. Otherwise, it'll be an offline version. And then the other option is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Again, yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. That is the best bang for your buck. You get the team playbook. You get our 2025 rookie report. All the premium tools on the website. It is by far the best bang for your buck. All right. Let's talk about Whalers team, shall we? And
yes.
I'm going to let you start because I'm going to pee.
No worries. Whaler,
Is
let
there
us know if you are.
no context?
No, there's none.
You know what is Foodbaby here? Because I thought he was in the chat. Maybe we start with his. Because I think Foodbaby was in the chat already. Okay, Whaler is here.
Okay,
awesome.
Whaler
Let's start
here.
with Whaler then.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, let us know if all the content is correct. You go use bathroom. Do what you gotta do. I'll start reading this team. And this is a 2 quarterback, 12 team start 10. So that is most likely going to be a middle ground. Which I'll put here. That's a middle ground there. And then let's have a look at this team here, which it looks like you are currently Cloud Strife, 4 out of 12 according to Zach rankings here. And let's have a breakdown of this team. All right, we'll get to you next, Foodbaby, okay? Keep that in mind. At the quarterback position, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy. Obviously, not your QB2 is in question. Obviously, if Sam Darnold does move, but it looks like Michael Penix is going to be the starter in 2025. And then JJ McCarthy, what is that going to look like? So we'll have a look at that. So it's not a terrible quarterback room depending on what happens with Sam Darnold. At the running back position, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Brooks, Braylon Allen, the list goes on there with Isaac Arendo. Your only starting running back here is Bucky Irving. So that's not terrible for sure. And obviously you drafted Jonathan Brooks last year, which just unfortunate that he tears his ACL again. Tremendous talent.
Most running backs last year were absolute busts outside of Bucky, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then gets extended there. By the way, Whaler's putting his draft capital and picks there if you wanted to start copying that. At the wide receiver position, Brian Thomas, Lam McConkey, Chris Olave, McMillan, Tank Dell, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier, and the list goes on with Ben Sinnott, Jatavion Sanders there as well. So, and you have a lot of draft capital, which you are putting in there, which is going to be interesting. Okay.
Oops, I accidentally clicked X on the team review. Let me pull that back up. Good thing these guys are here because the link I forgot to hit live stream. So
Yeah, this is gonna be great. We'll still time code it.
Cloud Strife, right? Is the name?
Yeah, Cloud Strife.
Okay,
yeah,
let me
exactly.
just copy this. Firsts are bang, and the seconds are bang. Let's. Okay. 101, 103. That's good. Good amount of draft capital, actually. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, great amount of draft capital. I think I personally think it's an A draft capital.
207 to 209, meaning also the 208. I assume. That's awesome. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going through. I was trying to fill out some stuff on my end.
Bucky Irving, sell. Everyone's telling you to, man. No, I'm just. I would hold.
He would hold. I mean, I'm filling up. Let's start with the untouchables then, if there's any.
Brian Thomas.
Yep.
Is the
that's
only
what
one
I have there. And then holds maybe Chris Olave, Jalen McMillan. We can throw Bucky Irving in there if we really want to.
I'd also throw JJ in there too.
JJ McCarthy.
Ricky's also a great one too, but yeah.
And Ricky Pearsall.
You can definitely drop. There's no. I mean, Tyrod Taylor if you need to clear space. Oh wow, I just saw your wide receiver room. Never mind. You can easily drop Tim Patrick, Sterling Shepard, Jamari Thrash. Those are all easy drops. Draft capital is pretty good. I mean, that's an A+ grade on the draft capital. Really, really good job there. As far as the team overall, can you tell me where you got Michael Penix? Because every time we talk about Michael Penix, I just love the value that he had last year. And yes, it's annoying to hear for people who didn't draft Michael Penix, but I always love to see where fellow Penix stands. Got him in their drafts. Now that looks incredible for your rebuild, doesn't it? I mean, I would prefer Michael Penix on the Falcons over any quarterback in this class. Not even close. JJ McCarthy will have to figure out exactly what his future looks like. If Sam Darnold is signed long term, maybe they trade JJ McCarthy. Maybe McCarthy's in Big Blue. Overall team grade, though, I think when you include the draft capital and the amount of sleepers that are kind of just sitting there that we really love, I think this is like B- range. And again, because of the draft capital, that's really a big contributor here. Like, for example, I love Ben Sinnott and Sanders as like these stashes. I love the wide receiver stashes he has with Ricky Pearsall. I love the stashes at running back with Isaac Correndo, JJ McCarthy. It's not like this team is not going to win right now, but there's enough really quality stashes here that the picture is easy to paint.
Yeah, no question. I think which makes it a 1-year punt.
Yeah. 1-year punt. Yeah, I think, you know what? That's probably... What's our 26 picks look like? Do we have 20...
Yeah, we have 26. He has a bunch of seconds and 26 as well.
Well, I was going to say full rebuild if we had like a shit ton of 26 first-round picks, but the fact that we have a ton in 25, I think 1-year punt's the right direction here as well. Because that 1-year punt gives JJ another year to figure it out before you need him. Tank Dell a year to recover. Ricky Pearsall another year before that situation gets figured out. Ben Sinnott might need another year. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like 1-year punt as a direction here. Let's talk through this draft capital, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of draft capital, which it's good. It's good to have.
Yeah, I think we talk about two different scenarios here. Stick and pick, Ashton Genty, right? And then at the 103, I mean, this could go so many different ways, but you could grab another running back. You could grab a Tet, a Burden. There's really unlimited answers here. And that's why I would ultimately suggest to trade back from this pick if you're able to. You know, there's so many different right answers, which means to me the right answer is to trade back. But at the 201, in my rankings at least, you're going to be looking at a player, you know, like I don't think Judkins is going to fall that far, but he has in mock drafts. He has been falling that far. Your Jalen Royals come to mind. I don't think Ibuka will be there, but I'll mention him as well. You know, your Lovelands. Does he have a good tight end? I can't remember. No. Yeah, this is a team that could use a tight end. Warrens.
Yeah. He needs.
You know, and there's genuinely so many different players that we could mention here. You know, I could talk about Jack Besh. I could talk about Trey Harris. I could talk about Tez Johnson and DJ Giddens, Dylan Sampson. I mean, the list
that really all goes for all of them.
It doesn't stop, right? I mean, this list here is, I'm just gonna say true BPA. I'm gonna say post NFL draft rankings, which you will have, Whaler, through our draft guide, right? But that list, it's 20 names long for all these players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, Whaler said people hold on to first like their firstborns, which is fair. But yes. Ryan, you can definitely submit a team review if you want us to have a look, my friend. There's a link in the chat. You can also become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND if you want us to review your team and really dedicate some time to have a look at your team like we're doing here for Whaler. But considering this is like a one-year punt, I would be very open to, I don't know, like, unless you get a haul for Ashton Genty, I think I'm going to build around him. Because, to me,
you have pieces, brother.
You have pieces, but also, like, it is so difficult to go out and trade for a Bijan and a Gibbs right now. And those are guys that you can build around. Genty is that level of prospect. It's impossible to go trade for those names at the moment. So I would be completely open to actually building around Genty, because you're right as well. Genty and Irving is one hell of a 1-2 punch.
And Werler said, this was my team. I said last year the entire team was 24 rookies. Made one mistake of taking both running backs over Knicks. Had 11, 12, 20. Yeah. And 202 were Knicks and Worthy. Yeah, I mean, we were really big on Knicks, which is fine, which means that you didn't list Whaler. I'm joking.
No, look, there were things we were wrong on too. But...
Yeah, 100%. We were wrong on some stuff, but I completely understand. Looking back at it now, it's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, knowing who you could have had in hindsight, but that's okay. Because anything could potentially happen in 2025. But I mean, at least the players that you got hit, right? I mean, look at Bucky, look at Brian Thomas, Ladd. All those guys hit. Jalen McMillan hit later on. Ricky is still up in the air as well, right? Ben was sitting behind Zach Ertz this year. Maybe he walks away this year, and you see how that turns out and pans out. So there's definitely, you hit them more than you missed, to be fair, after not picking Bo Nix, which is fine. Yeah. But
tell me where you got Penix. That's what I want to know. Where did you get Penix, Whaler? But if we were to trade back from the 103, again, I'd want to stay in the range of 104 to 107 ideally, plus like a future first or really good vet, you know, or a young piece. I think that's kind of, so you got Penix in the mid-second. I love that. I mean, that's just like you said, Badaki, another huge hit in the class. You should feel good. I mean, you had a bunch of big hits in this class.
Yeah.
But at the 103, I'm willing to trade back from the 104 to the 107. I would do even further if the return was higher. Now, we don't know exactly what teams. Maybe you can help us. Whaler, just tell us who has the 104 to the 107. 104, 105, 106, 107. What teams have those picks? Because then we can maybe cook up some ideas as far as potential trade back options. But I mean, the one like, let's see, who might it be? Like Donkey Kong might be 107 range. He doesn't have his own first though.
Yeah, that might be.
Kirby
I
Joseph
definitely,
doesn't
I
have his
definitely
own
want to
first.
try and get like be at the end of the first here with you. Like imagine getting the 103 and then you can get another wide receiver, you know, or let's say you can trade back to like the 105, 106, get Luther Burden, and then somebody on the come around. Like, that'd be exciting.
So Aether Spame has 2 firsts. Whaler hasn't said exactly which ones they are, but I'm assuming they're one of them that we could look at. Like, for example, an Ayuk is the perfect trade back, right? So 103.
I'm assuming that's in order. Hey, Whalers, so Aether. Aether has what, the 102, maybe?
Right.
So is that what you're saying? At least that's how I would.
I mean, you could even do like, if this is the 104, then could you send the 103 and the 201 for Brandon Ayuk as an example, right? Because Ayuk is really, really undervalued right now. You can play around with these second round picks that you have to build a roster of guys that have, you know, a little less question marks, I'd say. So does that mean Finesse has the 105?
Aether 104, Browser 105, Finesse 106, Kirby
Bowser.
107. Okay,
Bowser has a 105. What do you think? Like, I mean, I would tear down for Judy. I'd do a straight tear down for Judy for sure.
What, for the 103 to 105 and Jerry Judy? Okay, I was about to say, well, what are we thinking? What are we smoking?
No, I think that I have all those players in the same tier. I see it as a free Jerry Judy.
At first, I thought you said 103 for Jerry Judy. I was like, dude, are you okay?
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Or Worthy. Either one.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
At the 103. Okay, so how about Finesse, who
Finesse, which is team 1. So
Finesse has the 106. This one's a little bit more difficult, I'd say.
He's probably not going to give you Bo Nix as well.
No. I see this as a difficult tier down. Maybe Addison. But unfortunately had a great end of the year. I mean, could you do 106 plus Jordan Addison, and then you could throw in the 204? I mean, I don't know. Just as an idea. Let's say Tet is there and people are in love with Tet McMillan, as an example.
Yeah, I think people are going to love. I'm not saying they're going to be comparisons. Mike Vrabel, AJ Brown. He loved AJ Brown, didn't want him. Let him get his top wide receiver, Tet McMillan. He has his quarterback. They're going to use him like AJ Brown did in Tennessee. I can see the narrative already.
Kirby is the 107, and it's perfect because he has Rome Odunze. I'm obsessed with this idea, actually. I mean, maybe you can throw in the 208. I mean, I'd throw in the 208 and the 209 if need be, but you can start at the 208. You know, I love that idea personally. And then the other thing I was going to mention, like, with the amount of picks that you have, I wouldn't consider this a very deep class. So, like, the 208 to the 209, I'll even say 207 because you had the 207, right? Yeah. Like, any of these picks, I would trade any of these seconds for 2026 early seconds or 2027 picks.
Wait, Whaler just put a trade in the chat. He says, Finesse offered me Nix, Benton, and the 212 for JJ and the 103.
No. I love Bo Nix, but McCarthy's going to start at some point. I don't think that's maximizing the 103 in a rebuild.
I might see that a little bit differently. And it's not because of the 103. It's because of I get that. Not maximizing the 103. I get that point. I think JJ McCarthy, like, another thing that I think maybe we're missing here is that he doesn't have a QB2 if JJ McCarthy stays with the Vikings and is not traded away, and they re-sign Sam Darnold to a contract extension.
Which is something that I can worry about when I'm ready to compete. But I don't need to worry about it right now when I'm trying to maximize all my assets.
Yeah. But I do like Bo Nix, but I don't like the 103 maximizing. So anyways, I just wanted to give my thought process.
I love Nix, but there's a chance JJ is also a very good starter in this league, and then you basically gave up the 103 for nothing.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Outside of that, I mean, this team. Well, let me go back and look at this team here. Where were we? You can also tier down further, but the return needs to be much higher. Like for 108 to the 112, the return needs to be much higher, like 2 future firsts. So let's just say that real quick. Like the 108 to the 112, I don't really want to go that far. Plus 2 future firsts. You know, like at that point, you really are. I mean, even historically, your chances of hitting are much lower, but trying to take into context this class. Where are we? Cloud Strife. Yes. So,
yeah.
I don't think we sell Penix, McCarthy. I wouldn't sell Bucky, but a lot of people are telling you to. I don't see a reason to sell Brian or Ladd. I don't want to sell Olave McMillan. I don't think there's a real sell on this team.
There's no one there's no one I want to sell here.
I guess Jonathan Brooks if you can get any future first. Or second, sorry.
Any future second, yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. How about I'd say the same for Tank Dell actually. I'm sorry, I would take any future second for him at this point. It's a tough picture to paint.
My only concern would be, which I understand it's 1 year punt, is which you do have your 26 first, which is fine, is quarterback too, because even though it's 1 year punt, what can we do? Do we buy a Geno Smith or not really? Well, you don't necessarily have to. That's the thing.
No, I don't think we need to think about it right now.
But I'm just interested in what we should do at all, or we shouldn't make a move and not do anything.
In my opinion, I don't see the need for it. You know.
Sure. So I take that off.
But
it says I traded for Dell like 1 to 2 weeks before his injury, was trying to build up the wide receiver room. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think this is a great pathway for you. 1 year punt, amazing draft capital, and you'll see all that within your your playbook.
Yes.
Here, Whaler. Just let us know if you have any other questions or any other ideas that you want to talk about, anything you do want to talk through.
I love the idea of moving to Ayuk. I love the Roma Dunze trade. That's one of my favorite trades we've made this week. If you can move Jonathan Brooks for any future second, that's going to benefit you a bunch. I also love the idea of moving off those late seconds for a future class instead. But yeah, Whaler, please leave any comments. Like right now is your time to shine, my friend. Please let us know if you have any questions. You also, by the way, I'm not opposed to trading Ashton Genty if you get like an insane haul. You know, if someone's going to give you Bucky, Irving, and 3 first-round picks, as an example,
Bucky,
then
yes.
Yeah, of course we'll do it. But again, it needs to be an absolute haul. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Whaler, let us know if you have any questions, anything we didn't answer. He says this confirmed a lot of what I was thinking. That's great to hear. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed what Jelly said either, trading up those seconds for a first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could go like a 205 plus 207 plus 209 to get to like the 110 range.
Yeah, I think it just depends on
108.
there's still some I feel like last year you could have done that because there were so many people that everyone wanted to trade back, but it just really depends on the draft of the landing spots of some of these players. But yes, I do like that idea.
Yeah.
He says, I like having all 4 of those tests. I think I have at least one, and have to hit them all shown.
He also said it was fun having a team read, and we had fun reviewing it, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
All right, we'll do one more.
Yeah, one more.
I know the game's on, but
yeah. Is it? I thought it started at 12:30 for us.
It's about to start, but I don't mind.
Yeah, I know Food Baby is here, so let's knock this one out.
Yeah, I'd like to do this one more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say we knock this one out. I know Food Baby's here. Food Baby, my team is Urban Warfare. Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting. Let's have a look at this context here. Food Baby for you. And it says, this is my first year playing Dynasty. Any advice would be much appreciated. I love to know how my team is looking and how I could improve. I just decided to do a trade and give up McBride for the 106, a 25 first, and McMillan.
I like that.
I already...
Continue. I was just saying I liked it.
I already have Bowers and Kelsey. I'm hoping to get a better running back or wide receiver. All right, so this is a 2-quarterback, 10-team start 10. So
all right, 10-team start 10. So we're working with a middle ground roster again.
Yeah, middle ground
starting lineup. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like the trade less now that it's start 10 or 10-team is what I meant to say. But let's have a look at the roster. Urban Warfare, he's currently 8th. And the reason I say that, wait a second, Trey McBride's still on his team. Have you done the trade yet? Or no?
No, I said I don't do the trade. I didn't do the trade after that. I wanted more for McBride. I did get third.
Okay.
Get third this past year.
Okay. Let's have a look at the roster. Again, super flex, 10 teams, start 10. Love Mayfield. That's a good one too. No real reliable QB3, but Fields is a great stash considering like what's the long term there in Pittsburgh. CMC, Henry, Najee definitely need to take advantage of their windows. Puka, Downs, Evans, Coker, not the strongest wide receiver room, but you do have Bowers and McBride and Kelsey. Is this a tight end premium?
It says non-tight end premium. And
it says non. Can you just confirm that for us, Food Baby, that this is not tight end premium? Let me just double check as well. Let's see. It doesn't say tight end premium, so I assume it's not. Okay. All right. No first rounder, but he has his 26 first. I mean, the draft capital is like a B minus, maybe C plus actually. But the overall team as of today, your starting lineup would be Love, Mayfield, McCaffrey, Henry, Puka, Evans, Bowers, and then you would need 3 flexes, which would be McBride. And that's where things get tricky. Maybe Downs, Kelsey. Coker maybe at times. Maybe Johnston if he decides to have a game. Or Warren or Najee. So he says, I traded 2 firsts for Bowers. Were they 25 first? Like, do you know where those ended up being? Were they late first projected? Because if you already had McBride, this roster could have really used those first to improve wide receiver, even get younger at running back, quarterback 3. But I might be open to selling Bowers or McBride here with this team.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand having 2 tight ends could help you, especially if they're tight end 1, tight end 2. He says it was the 108.
Then that's a steal.
Yeah.
That's
a steal. What was the
steal.
other first, though? He said I traded 2 first. What was the other first? It's okay. You can say the 102, the 101. I traded at the beginning of the season. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think that's, let's say that's another mid-first. I think that's actually a steal for you, ultimately. This is the definition of a Windows open roster.
Yeah.
Definition of Windows open. And that means these players, this prime isn't going to last forever. CMC, we already seen some injuries. Derrick Henry getting older. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. This is the definition of a Windows open pathway, which means every move we make right now is trying to position ourselves to take advantage of that pathway. Now that I know you have Bowers, I'm not completely opposed to the idea of moving McBride. I'm not sure this is enough considering it's a 10-man league. Wait a second.
Right.
I thought it was the 106. I must have read it wrong. Okay, 106 first and McMillan. Yeah, that's not enough. But I think we are close. No thanks is what I'll say. But for Trey McBride, sorry, I'm wrapping my head around what we're doing here. I think that is a no thanks, but we're close, and I think there's a counter out there that we can think of. But first off, the untouchables on this team would be Bowers and Puka.
Yeah.
The holds, I believe Josh Downs is a hold. I believe Jalen Coker is a hold. And I would say Fields as well, considering, like, what are you going to get? A third-round pick for him? He could start next year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Right now, your starting lineup is Love, Mayfield, McCaffrey, Henry, Puka, Evans, Bowers, McBride, Kelsey, Downs. Do we give this overall team a grade?
No, we have not.
The assets are all weirdly positioned, but I think it's a decent Windows open team, but the window will close. Mike Evans, CMC, Derrick Henry, that window will close. Kelsey's window maybe already closed.
I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like this team is like, this team can fall off next year.
You're 100% right, but
that's why I'm not saying we should do something about it, but I'm just saying, like, this is why I'm a little bit skeptical about the CMCs of the
that's
world,
why
like
I was
Najee
interested in the
Harris.
McBride deal, because you can use that 106 to get a young running back outside of those two vets you're relying on. But I want to look at the deal in a second. But I firmly believe that this is a Windows open. Overall grade, I'd say, like, it feels like a B flat.
Yeah.
Like, this team, once we make some moves, you put them in the playoffs, anything can happen. I think he said he made the playoffs, didn't he? I think he said he made the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. He got third. So he's a Ravens fan. And he loves Henry. Cheddar willing to trade Burrow. I would not be going after Burrow. Not with this team. Right now, Love, Mayfield is good enough. We need to improve other areas of your team with this window right now.
Yeah, I think
you're going to have to pay way too much to get Burrow.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's think this through. Let's look at the team that has Jalen McMillan, because they will help us figure out a good counter here. Okay, so he has the 106. Okay, cool. So the 106 McMillan, really it needs to be like McMillan and Connor. Or like McMillan Tracy. Like, I think that small little counter can really put us in a place where we're comfortable. Let's say McMillan and Connor. Or Tracy, and then you could also meet him in the middle there. and you could offer him something in return, like the 308 as a start, and just see if that interests him. He really needs a tight end. Well, then, if he's desperate, this could be great for you.
Yeah, I mean,
shoot, I mean, you could throw in Kate Otten instead of the 308. Maybe he values Kate Otten more than the 308, you know? I think that's a pretty good counter. In fact, I'd prefer Tracy.
Yeah, I prefer Tracy as well, for sure.
In a
So
10 team, that is not
Tracy.
asking too much, Badaki, in a 10-team league.
Nah.
As Matthew Stafford walks into the field.
Who you got on this game? I just have a feeling the Rams are going to win.
I don't want to be disrespectful to Minnesota, but it would not shock me if they lose.
Yeah, same. I think they're just the Rams are just more a playoff. They're more an experienced playoff team. They've been in this position before. Sam Darnold has never. I think they've only been in the playoffs once in that 1 year.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, where Daniel Jones knocked them out against the Giants. So like,
yeah, there goes Puka.
That wasn't even Sam Darnold.
I think it could go either way. Honestly, I think it's a true crapshoot either way. I think the Vikings could win it, but it could go either way. All right, and I actually really love the idea of moving Trey McBride. I mean, let's think this through, Badaki. If we made this move, McMillan, Tracy, and the 106, McMillan is a needed addition to the wide receiver room. Tracy, a needed addition to a very old running back group. And then the 106, we can trade the 106 for a veteran wide receiver we love. We can keep the 106 and draft a Luther Burden. We can draft a young stud running back. I really think this is the key to unlocking this window. Maximizing Trey McBride, I think it's definitely the key. Now, what I'd love to do is keep looking at other teams who are tight and needy and see if there's other deals we love.
Let's have a look.
For example, the team that has Ben Sinnott, Cole Kmet, they have the 104. What about the 104? We could cook something up here. 104 plus something. Like,
they're 104 plus.
What about like 104 plus either Pollard, Pittman, or the 108 might be pushing it. But if you could get both of those picks, that's a no-brainer. I don't think he accepts that. But if you're able to like include,
I'm happy to add somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to add like a Najee maybe.
Yeah, I'd easily include Najee Harris, but you'd have to add something else, I think.
Yeah.
What does he have? The
What about
308?
He has 208.
Well, what if you just tried the 208 instead of Najee?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just a 208.
Yeah.
Basically a pick swap, essentially.
Yeah. He's who I traded for Bowers. That's funny. Well, look, that's probably not going to work out then because he probably preferred to have those picks. But that was a year ago. Maybe he regrets it. You can definitely still open the door.
Yeah.
The guy who has Kyle Pitts is going to reluctantly agree that he needs help. So how about, first off, like the 102... Would you do that straight up and then trade the 102 during April?
No question.
There's no premium here, right?
No.
With intention to trade 102 in April around the NFL draft, right?
Yeah, agreed.
What does KTC say about that?
Let's have a look.
Like, we can't put specific picks, but yeah, they have it about even. What about Flock Fantasy Community or Expert Consensus? If I go to calculator, Expert Consensus McBride and the 102. What's that say? It says the 102, or it says McBride. They value McBride way higher. Okay. Yeah, it's Dynasty settings, Superflex too.
It's not time
So,
premium? Oh, okay.
No. But what we could do is add the 102 and Diggs could actually be perfect. The 102 and the 202, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I think in order of what you offer, you start with the 102 and the 202. Then you go to the Diggs trade. And then you go 102 as a settle. I still like the McMillan Tracy trade better than that, but yeah.
I agree.
Which do like
I like those
we
moves.
can't ask for a Ayuk and a Dunze because the guy's gonna have no receivers to build around. 3rd and 7 here, Stafford dumps it down to Kyron. I don't know if he got it. Yeah. Okay. How about Frankie Mustard? 103 Bucky? Is that even possible? Got to add something probably. What if you added, what do we have, the 208?
Yeah, we do.
As a starting point. I don't think that gets accepted, but I'd send it. How about the 105 and Sutton? I think maybe we need more, but especially without a long-term contract. I'd say 105, and you could also ask.
I mean, if your window's open,
Mixon?
you risk it with Tyreek.
Yeah, I was thinking adding Joe Mixon to the deal.
Yeah, I like that as well.
We'd have to send like the 308 as a minimum as a starting point.
Dude, so wide open. It's crazy. I agree. I like that.
Yeah, I like all these offers, honestly. Wow, that was a huge drive from the Rams, and that was about as easy as it looks. Is there any other teams that are interested in McBride or have shown interest? Because I think that's kind of where your line is drawn. I mean, of course, I'd like send McBride for the 101. I just don't think that happens.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'd even add the 208 there pretty easily. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Yeah, I think that's probably where your trade partners end for McBride. And let's just play out a scenario here. I mean, let's say we were able to get McMillan Tracy done. I mean, we got the 106. We get no young running back or wide receiver. McMillan Tracy to an older room. That really is extending that window. Chetta, Ambi, and Bonesy, they all want him. Chetta. What's his team name?
Chetta. I'm trying to figure it out.
I think he was saying sleeper username, but we need the actual team name.
Team name, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh, there's Bonesy, which we cooked up one for Bonesy.
Yeah, we did.
Outside of those teams, what's our team name again? Urban Warfare. Yeah, we're ranked first, by the way. Or that's actually range of tight end ranking. My bad. I'd also be willing to sell the 208 for some veteran. So, for example, like running back, wide receiver veterans that I'd sell for the 208. Like Mike Evans. We already have Mike Evans, don't we? Cortland Sutton. James Conner.
James Conner. And
that's probably where the list ends, actually. So it's not a very big list. But I mean, Jerry Jeudy, but I don't think someone's going to sell him that low anymore.
Yeah, that's probably about
His username is you like that. Let's see. You like that. Okay, let's see. He has Hawkinson. Why? I mean, well, we said the 101. I mean, yeah, so you can offer him that.
He does have Hawkinson now.
Yeah, he has Hawkinson. I don't understand why he's so desperate for it, but I'd love to do like. Could you do a Olave in the 201?
For what?
For McBride?
For McBride? I personally wouldn't be in love with that.
Yeah, me neither. So I don't think there's a good fit with this team.
No.
He has Hawkinson and Andrews. I just don't think you're going to be able to extract maximum value from that guy, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's tough. And this is a dude that wants to sell you Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you he's not going to trade away the 101. So he's trying to find value other places without giving up the 101 with Ashton, because he probably thinks he can compete with TJ, Mark, Amon-Ra. Chris Olave's going to come back. He's talking himself up. He saw what Darnell Mooney did with last year or this past year, right? Like, at least that's what I will be thinking for this team if I'm an optimist.
Yeah, 208, 308. I mean, we can't really tell you what the 308 is going to be at this point, or the 408, right? But I mean, BPA, take a shot on a running back, a wide receiver in a favorable situation. But I would also say BPA here. It's just I can't tell you who BPA is yet. The 208, right? I mean,
no, not at all.
Draft guide update will show you. Will have rankings on BPA, right?
Yeah.
Back in action says joining to the quarterback for depth in a 2-quarterback league. Malik is available, as in Malik Willis. I mean, I'd send like Andre Yeshivas for Malik Willis. I wouldn't do anything crazy. You know what I mean? Like I like that as a backup.
Yeah, I agree.
I would not send anything too valuable. But I think you already have Justin Fields there as like a fun wild card. What happens if they move on from Russ and they sign Fields to a 2-year deal or something? Like that could be really interesting.
I like that.
But I think you could also buy a quarterback in season. Like Geno Smith's going to be a 2nd-round pick probably until he loses his job, and you could buy him in season. You could buy a Matthew Stafford in season. So I don't think it's an urgent need right now. And anyway, that's how I'd take this team.
It's a great team right now. Keep in mind, like I said earlier, the fall off could happen next year to where you just probably need to go full rebuild.
You do not sell your 26 or 27 first-round picks.
No. And the reason why I say that is because it's really not because of anyone outside of Christian McCaffrey, which I'm not a huge. I think there's 2 ways it can go. He can be your average running back that's going to average you 15 to 17 points, and even then that's still like underwhelming for what CMC has produced for us for his whole career, or CMC is not going to be the same running back. And with that being said, if that is the pathway that CMC goes down, who's your RB2? Sure, it can be Derrick Henry and Najee Harris, or Derrick Henry and Jalen Warren, and then you think, damn, what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah.
But just know that this could definitely fall off, or Mike Evans.
Yeah, there's plenty of players you can point to. I mean, I still think CMC's got a lot in the tank, but I understand the concern. It's valid concern. But yeah, for me, I think that you're in a great spot. He says he has Malik Willis on the waiver wire. Yes, you can drop. Have we done drops?
Yeah, I put Dylan Labe, and I put
Lob. You can drop Rondale Moore. You can drop
Rondale Moore as well. It just depends on who else. I think you'll be okay to drop Keaton Mitchell if you need to.
I'd rather drop Elijah before Keaton, but yeah.
But yeah, look, Mitchell. Yeah.
You could drop either of those guys for Malik Willis, Labe or Rondale. Probably Rondale is who I'd prefer to drop.
Yeah, and I think that's fine.
Yep.
And you'll see all that once again, Food Baby, on the graphic that you're going to be receiving in the 24 to 72 hours here in the Flock Fantasy message site, with all that information that Zach has been saying on the chalkboard there, and all those trade ideas. You will see all of that.
My favorite is the 106 McMillan Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the Bucky trade.
Yeah.
I
like the Portland Sutton and Joe Mixon.
Yeah, we can highlight that one. Any other trades you like?
I think I would just be okay with like the Cortland Sutton and James Conner and Jerry Jeudy one, or we can do the second. Excuse me. Give him some variety on those.
All right, man. He says, cool. Thanks so much. I seriously appreciate you both. We appreciate you, my friend. Again, like Badaki said, that your team playbook will be within 48 to 72 hours on the Flock site. And appreciate you, man. Definitely take advantage of that window. Let's go win a chip. Come on, baby.
Come on, talk it up. Appreciate you, man.
But I think that's it for today, guys. Got a rookie draft in. Got a team review in. 4 team reviews. If your name is Outlaw Dave, Onyx Stone, Biggin, we're getting to you tomorrow for sure. Appreciate all the love, all the support. You guys are awesome. Mostly says just got Olave for Debo 211. Is that a win or a loss? I like that trade for Olave.
Yeah, I like that as well.
That's it, guys. All love. You know how to get a team review, a playbook now if you want one. And we'll see you guys very soon. Love.
Love.